Radio 810 WHB, Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. The next 4 hours, we've got you a lot of stuff to get into and talk about today. A couple of hours from now, we'll hang out with Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. We got some sports or leisure today before the show is over. Some World Cup questions along the way. We'll do some of that. I ran one World Cup trivia question by Nate and Jake just because I thought it was interesting. I guess if I didn't think it was interesting, I guess I would not have asked them. But it was about the last time the United States hosted the World Cup and see if they knew it off the top of their head. And they immediately got one of the two. There was two answers to it. They got one of the two, which is all I'll ask is one of the two. So we'll see about that. That's a huge tease. Now people are pumped for sports or leisure knowing that.
I'm teased.
There's a question that I asked Nate and Jake, and they got it right. It's going to be crazy, mind-blowing in the 1 o'clock hour. So that's how the show lines up today, but tons of stuff to get into and talk about. Royals with the rubber match today against the Rangers. An opportunity to win that game last night, a back-and-forth matchup. Oddly enough, the way the Royals were playing, I had the complete opposite feeling than I have had most of the year. It still resulted in what ended up being the results of most of the year, so we'll get into that. I do want to discuss Jack Caglione and what he has done in June in his last 8 games. And I want to discuss, are we watching the beginning of a star being born at the major league level? Because he's been a guy that's been a star at Florida with the Jack Toney and throwing 100 off the mound and a 6th overall pick and massive home runs in the minors. So he's had attention around him. But it has not resulted in consistency in the big leagues. Is this a hot stretch, or are we seeing the beginning of a guy that could be batting fourth for the next 6, 7, 8 years for the Kansas City Royals?
Currently watching the best number 7 hitter in all of baseball.
100%. Easily.
The best number 7 in a lineup. Yep. Because when you're doing that, you gotta be 7th.
Well, yes. Also, we can talk about, is it time to move him up? It's that old, balance of, is he hitting this way because he's down in the lineup and there's less pressure? If you move him up to number 4, does he feel like there's so much more on his plate and he's got to do more? But it is about time to put him in more advantageous situations, I would think. So we'll talk about that, what he's done the last 22 games, what he's done in the month of June, and what he's currently doing right now. Now OPSing over 800 for Jack Caglione.
Highest in the team.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
He just passed Bobby.
Maybe Jack becomes the leader of MVP this year in the American League with Judge out instead of now, Bobby. I'm joking because Bobby's defense is amazing, and Bobby leads the majors in WAR this year. And with Judge out, if the Royals could just start winning more games, you would see Bobby being the leader in the clubhouse for the MVP. So we'll talk some Royals. We'll talk about the epic collapse back. Epic comeback, epic collapse, all in one half of basketball, all in about 17 minutes of basketball. We'll talk about what we saw last night. Patrick Mahomes, his contract that is unprecedented in the NFL. What the Chiefs did is an unprecedented move. And we'll talk about why it's unprecedented, what it means for the Chiefs, what it means for Patrick Mahomes, and what it means moving forward. We'll get into all of that stuff. And Joey McGuire, the head coach of Texas Tech, tries to defend their actions, but comes off as tone deaf, as you would expect the head coach would come off as tone deaf. So we'll get into that as well. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us to be a part of the show. 913-912-4810 text line to be a part of the show, part of the conversation, and some things we may have heard from Andy Reid and Xavier Worthy as they talked around at 9:30 or so, wrapping up the mandatory minicamp and heading off to a little bit of a break before training camp. The dates haven't been set, but but it will be most likely a week later that they'll be heading to training camp than they have in the past because of the NFL being a week later and starting with the way the calendar falls this particular year. You know what? Let's start with the Royals. So much has been talked about the Game 4 last night. We'll definitely get into it. But I want to start with the Royals and the opportunities missed last night from the Kansas City Royals. They're now 6-3 in June. It was a winnable game. But oddly enough, I found myself watching that game and thinking, they're going to win this. Like, I felt oddly confident because of how they're playing that they're going to find a way to win this game. Whereas most of the season, I've been watching this team going, there's no chance they're winning this game. They do not have it. They're not playing well enough. They're going to leave guys. I know what the final picture is going to be, is us talking about them losing. What I don't know is how Bob Ross is going to paint the bubbling little brooks and the happy little trees and the little birds along the way and the beautiful clouds and the sunset and everything. I don't know how he's going to get there, but I know what the picture looks like. It's going to be us complaining about somehow, some way, this team lost. And what did Q do along the way that made him so stupid? These are the conversations I would expect, or what people would say that Q had done along the way. But last night, I'm like, okay, they're going to find a way to do this. They're just playing better baseball right now. They're getting hits with runners in scoring position. The bullpen has been really good. They're going to. The Rangers haven't exactly been world beaters, so it's going to be fine. And obviously, it wasn't fine. 2 different bases loaded walks. Strom, Urseg, and Alex Lang combined for 1 1/3 innings. 4 hits, 4 walks, 4 runs. 1 1/3. They recorded 4 outs. 4 is wild. 4 outs, 4 hits, 4 walks, 4 runs that those 3 guys gave up, which was ultimately the difference in the game, and combined with all of the runners left on base by the Royals and having a huge opportunity in the bottom of the 10th with bases loaded and nobody out, and highlighting a player who has really skated by this year without any criticism. Well, there have been a lot of players that people have set their sights on this year, including misappropriating the frustration for some of the Royals players that have been on the receiving end of frustrations. But there is a player that has been under the radar or kind of set aside of any sort of complaints, and he has been complaint worthy. And last night it came up in his last 2 at-bats.
Well, I think I know what you're talking about, and I've started to complain about said
Obviously,
player.
Bobby Wett.
I'm assuming Isaac Collins.
Isaac Collins, 100%.
Let's start here because this was my frustration. Yeah. I tweeted this out yesterday after the game, or actually right after his at-bat. No one hates swinging with runners in the scoring position more than Isaac Collins. That guy, when a guy gets on base, he decides, I'm not going to swing. I don't get it. And pitchers have figured this out because it is pepper the strike zone. It's like he's terrified of swinging. I don't know what it is. I'm going to the game, and I'm covering the game after the show today. If Isaac Collins has another situation, if you think I'm not going to ask you and say, does his approach change? I'll have to frame it in a way to not get, get yelled at. But does Isaac Collins' approach change with runners in scoring position? Because it looks like it does. It feels like he doesn't want to swing. It feels like he doesn't want to be a mistake maker.
You've got to put the ball in play with bases loaded and nobody out. You can't go down looking. Not only
and know who's next. By the way,
I actually thought, like, my thought process was at that time, I'm like, they're going to come through, and then it was the devil and the angel. Like, the angel is like, they're going to come through because they're playing better baseball and they have been taking advantage of these opportunities in a small sample size. The devil on the other side is going, dude, this game ends with Bobby Witt on deck. But here's what I thought would happen, the game ending with Bobby Witt on deck. I thought there would be an Isaac Collins double play. They would allow the run to score. So now it's 6-5, and then Tolbert would have just a fly ball or a ground ball or something like that. But it was, or strikeout. But it was not that. It was the opposite. It was Isaac Collins watching a third strike, and then one of the fastest players on the Royals hitting into maybe the only way he could hit into a double play, which was a ground ball right to third, step on third, throw to first, and Bobby's just standing there watching, and no opportunity to come up in that situation to come through And it's a frustration because not only did Isaac Collins watch the third strike in his last 2 at-bats, he also wasted their final challenge.
Yeah.
In his second to last at-bat, it was clearly a strike, and he looks at it, and he taps his helmet. I'm like, he's the worst. He should never be allowed to challenge. I think he's like 0 for 9.
Yeah.
He should never be allowed to challenge again. He's got no clue. And the reason you have a decent idea of his clue of the strike zone is how bad he is at challenging. Shows you his ability to understand the strike zone.
He is, with runners in scoring position, hitting .211, slugging .246, OPS in .575. Runner at third, he's hitting .143. So if you're wondering, wow, he does look like he's really bad when there's a runner at third base. Yeah, he's been horrible. And I was a huge Isaac Collins supporter. I still think
pumped about him.
I still think he can be a fine player. Like, I still have some faith. But it feels to me that when guys get on base or guys on third, less than 2 outs, he doesn't swing. It's like he's trying to draw a walk at all times when that's not the time to do that. Yeah. You have decent bat-to-ball skills.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have some success at.
I've been
put the ball in play,
and the defense hasn't exactly been stellar.
I don't know what happened there.
It's gotten better, but it's not good
because he was good last year.
Yeah,
and I don't know what happened defensively to make him turn into a below-average outfielder as well as a below-average hitter. I get it. This is why the Brewers probably saw something and said, "Hey, we're content to let him go." Clearly, the Brewers knew what they were doing. Again, I'm not saying give up on the guy just yet, but I do think there feels like a philosophical change in his game when someone gets to third base. To me, it looks like he's terrified. It looks to me like he doesn't want to make a mistake, and by that, he now no longer swings.
Last night was really frustrating because I'm like, you just got to put the ball in play, man. Find a way to put the ball. I don't care if freaking bunt. I don't know. Just put the ball in play. You can't strike out looking in that situation.
But even if he hits a double play, you're right. A run scores. It sucks, but you what Tyler Tolbert did, which we'll get into him as well. I don't know his role in the team. I don't get his role in the team. You want to make him Terrence Gore and Gerard Dyson so bad. He is not that guy.
His problem is not being able to keep his hand on the bag.
Which is, by the way, it's a dumb rule, but it's the rule.
I know.
Is it a dumb rule?
100%, yes.
It's a dumb-ass rule. That's not what challenges were meant for. Hey, Rob, you've changed the game so much. Finally change something for the better, you clown. Come on, Manfred.
I mean, one of the main rules in baseball is on the base. That's safe on the base.
No, but
you've got to learn how to.
I'm saying throughout for hundreds of years of baseball, that was safe every single time because we're not the millimeters is not going to be the difference.
I just my issue with that is if it takes 10 minutes to come up with a review, then the call stands.
Correct. And by the way, it's twofold. It shouldn't be overturned. It shouldn't be that should not be part of the challenge system of there has to be a millimeter rule. There has to be one in there.
Well, now you got to measure the millimeter.
I don't give a hoot nor a holler.
Okay.
Rob's changed the game so much.
Okay.
He's changed the game that I loved. Change this.
Okay.
Do something smart.
Or stay on the bag.
And stay your ass on the bag.
Stop sliding, and then you get to second, and you lift your body up. When you get past the bag. How about sliding while keeping your body on the bag? You could still stop. You could dig your heels in or your toes into the ground. You could still push. But he seems to get to second. His hands get past second. And then he pushes down and raises his body in the air. He does it all the time.
I get it's difficult, but that is his role on the team is to be that. So, like, if
learn how to slide without
if Bobby occasionally did that, you'd be like, all right, because he does everything else, right? This is his one role. Tyler's is to be a good base stealer. That can't happen.
Yeah.
Again, I might hate the rule. Again, I hate the rule, but it's the rule. And at some point, when that is your one role, you have to do that one role well. And again, to me, it feels like the Royals are trying to make him into Terrence Gore. He's not that guy.
He's the closest version, and it's sort of the roster construction or who you have in the system. He's the closest version of Terrence Gore. He's just...
And again, Lane Thomas...
His caught stealings are coming off the bag.
And again, Lane Thomas having to come out after the hit by pitch, right? It was the injury. Because
no, I think it was the. I think it was just they were pinch running.
I thought it was the injury.
No,
because
Q was joking with him. He was going to get on, and then they were going to bring in Tolbert because they wanted to steal that base.
Then I hate that even more so because Lane Thomas, who's had a good game, is in the 92nd percentile speed. He's faster, by the way. I get he's not a great base stealer. We haven't seen this year. He's faster than Tyler Tolbert. Ball in the gap.
Yeah,
he's a better chance, or just as good of a chance of scoring.
But
don't
also, it's not
that.
like it's not the bottom of the ninth in a tie game, and you've got like the bottom of the order up.
Correct.
It's not a situation where you're like you have to steal. Dave Roberts, you've got to get to second. Everybody knows in the stadium you're stealing, and you still got to steal and get to second. And Dave Roberts was able to do that for the Red Sox. That's a base stealer.
Correct.
And Thornton is fine, but you got Bobby up. You do have the heart of your lineup coming up after that, where a gapper should score Tolbert. It's not a first pitch, first move, I'm going to second base because I got to get in scoring position, because we don't have somebody that maybe has gapper or home run ability. This guy's a singles hitter, and therefore it's going to take 2 hits to score this guy if he doesn't steal second.
And by the way, it came back to haunt them when he made 2 outs to end the game. Again, maybe Lane Thomas does the same thing. We don't know, but I know who I would rather have up in that situation.
I would.
Lane Thomas.
Yeah, I would too.
And again, also, are you surprised? I get it. I know who was pitching. I get it. It was a lefty at that point.
They stayed with Tolbert, not Massey.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any chance he was going to go with Massey.
He's been hot.
Yeah.
He's been hot.
He absolutely has been hot. It sucks it didn't work out. Tolbert, oddly enough, has been much better with the bat than I ever thought he would be. Oddly enough.
214.
What was it last year? So I think he batted pretty well last year compared to what maybe just my own expectations of what I thought he was going to be.
He's hitting 214, slugging 214.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that necessarily this year. He hasn't had many opportunities. But last year, he was much better than I thought he was going to be, and I have to go back and look at what the numbers were.
Now. Well, he is because of too much. He ended up hitting 280 and 64 at bats.
Yeah, which was way better than I ever thought he would be as a major league hitter. I thought he was just a stolen base guy. So in that situation, I wasn't thinking there's no way this guy is not going to be able to come through. Also, I didn't think he was going to hit into a double play. It was unfortunate it happened. One last thing on this, and then we'll take a break. And I do want to get into the positive part of it because I want to talk about what we're seeing from Jack Caglione. Yes. Because so much of the negative of what we saw from Jack Caglione was, oh my God, is this guy in his head? Is this guy a 4A player? Is this guy, in AAA looks like Tarzan, hits like Tarzan, and in Major League Baseball looks like Tarzan, hits like Jane? Is that what this guy is going to be in his career? Well, I want to talk about what we've seen from Jack Caglione. But before we do that, one last sort of complaint. Process and results, we discuss that all the time. What's the process? What are the results? The bottom of the 6th inning, Lane Thomas came through with a hit and Isaac Collins scored. Results, great. They're up 3-2. Now you got a man at first and Bobby Witt, nobody out, up at the plate. You're up 3-2. Process results. The result, I think, helped Vance Wilson, in my mind, what I would have done, and keep his job. Because if Isaac Collins is thrown out at home, I wouldn't have let Vance Wilson finish the inning as my third base coach. He would have been fired on the spot. He's already been pretty rough as it is, but it's a 2-2 game in the 6th. You got Isaac Collins at second. Lane Thomas hits a line drive. Isaac Collins pauses, plays it perfectly. It gets by Nicky Lopez. He takes off running. He's 2 steps away from third when the center fielder picks it up, and Vance Wilson sends him. It's cut off at the mound. For some reason, I don't know. It's cut off at the mound. If it's not, it looks like it will be taking a 1 hop to the catcher, and Collins may be out by like a step and a half, maybe 2 steps. It's first and third, nobody out with Bobby Witt up in the 6th inning in a 2-2 game. Versus the risk of getting thrown out at home when he's 2 steps away from third, the center fielder has the ball already, and you're sending him, and you're taking the risk of it being 2-2, 1 out, and the man at first with Bobby up. It's one of the dumbest sends in that situation that I've seen with a guy who I don't know, has much of an idea of what he's doing over at third. Because there haven't been many times where it's like, oh, man, what a great send that was. What a great hold that was. I mean, guys are getting thrown out at home constantly with this team, or it's amazing slide to be able to get it. And if it was 2 outs, send them. Yeah. I get it, 2 outs. But you risk ending a rally for what was 1 run with nobody out and what could have been a 50-50 play if it's not cut off at home. That's you send him if you know for a fact he's going to get there.
Yeah.
If there's even a chance he's going to get thrown out, you hold him. If Isaac Collins got thrown out, I'd have fired Vance Wilson. And I'm not a fire guy. I'm not the guy that fires everybody but to me, what he's done already, and then that send, that's one of the dumbest things I've seen. He can't be my third base coach if he doesn't understand the process of sending Collins in that situation with who's on deck, how many outs, and what the inning is.
I don't think he's yelling, go if you feel it. Hey, if you're feeling it, go. Go ahead. Hey, if you feel it, are you feeling it? Go. That's what he's saying as they're coming around third.
Just one of the dumbest sends. And guess what? The results, they scored a run. Hey, and then they were like, it's complimenting Vance Wilson. Oh, man, what Vance Wilson? I got that right. That was a good, you see where he's at right now. Isaac Collins played it great, and, he's holding, and then he took off, and he's credit Isaac Collins, which is true. Credit Isaac Collins for running as hard as he did, but it still wasn't a good send. Even though the results are there, the process shouldn't be that process again, and I hope when he came back into the dugout, you heard the great catch, Hayes. Don't ever bleep and do it again. Hey, great send, Vance. Don't ever do it again in that situation. Be smart. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk about Jack. We'll talk about some epic collapses or epic comeback. We'll talk about Patrick Mahomes and his contract and the unprecedented nature of what the Chiefs did yesterday. And we'll get into a little more of Texas Tech with Joey McGuire now offering commentary on Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech. We'll get into that. Ken Swanson at noon. Sports or Leisure, 1 o'clock. More Zone next.
Oh, baby. It starts today. On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game. Because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Oh, no. What's one to do? My player's out of the game. That means my bet loses, right? Wrong. Not anymore. With FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right, baby. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. What a lovely thing FanDuel is doing. Because I hate it. You're playing, dude subs out, I've lost. I have no chance. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, you do. That's FanDuel's Super Sub, baby. You're still in it until the final whistle. A couple games on today. Mexico, South Africa. That game at 2. South Korea. Is that Czechoslovakia? Is that where they're going by now? I forget all the countries now. Czechia? They've changed names too many times for me. But 2 games on, that means 2 chances for you. And it's all right there on FanDuel. So stay in it until the final whistle with FanDuel's Super Sub.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll get into some NBA coming up. We'll get into Patrick Mahomes' contract. We'll talk about Joey Maguire and Texas Tech, their inability to read the room. We'll discuss all of those things, but I wanted to see where the pulse is right now of what we're watching with one Jack Caglione. Let's hear from Jack last night after the game, unfortunately in a loss, but in the locker room, clubhouse they call it in baseball, in the clubhouse, asked about what's going on in his approach as of late.
Really just trying to stay at the middle of the field. Gore's got really good stuff, really tunnels. Cedar's off speed really well, so getting them up the best you can. His slider looked really good out on the outer third of the plate tonight. And Saspa had a lot of life, so for us it was, shrink the zone, get them where you want, make sure you're on time for it.
Has that been your mentality these last few games, and has that led to the results that you wanted at the plate?
Yeah, just really trying to simplify. I'm not trying to do anything, that makes my mind think too much. So just kind of going up there, trying to have the team at bat. At the end of the day, just want to win. So stacking those, I think by the end of it, you'll look up and be in a good spot.
Has there been points where you were thinking too much and now you're just playing free?
Yeah, definitely. Say early on, runners in scoring position, just try too hard, expand. So kind of getting away from that, focusing on my strengths and, not giving into their plan. So.
Jack, how confident were you even in the bottom of the 10th? You guys are low to the bases, and it just seems like you guys are being able to make opportunities.
Yeah, especially against a guy like Latz. Another one, good lefty, tunnels really well, really good heater. Once I saw kind of the pop, that breaking pitch, I just wanted to stay in the big part of the field. Thankfully caught enough barrel to sneak one through, and just kind of kicked the inning off in a positive way, I guess.
It does feel like everything's going back up the middle, which is fine. I'm on record in saying last year I would like to see Jack Caglione lift the ball to the pull side because, as we've said, in Major League Baseball, fly balls to the pull side, the slug is like 2. It's like 2 point something, okay? Because that's how good players are in Major League Baseball. But if the approach is back up the middle, and then if I get out ahead of it, I rip one 450 feet, great. If I'm going back up the middle and hitting line drives and going the double down the left field line because I'm thinking back up the middle. Because if I'm going to pull that and the doubles and I hit it the same way, I'm probably popping it up to third base because I'm out and ahead of it. The bat isn't on playing the way that it should be. Instead, I'm thinking up the middle. My bat stays in the zone longer, and now I hit it, barrel it to left field for a double. That approach is awesome. What Jack Caglione has done with his 4 of 5 last night and 3 of 3 the night before. In the month of June, Jack Caglione has added 39 points to his batting average, 45 points to his on-base percentage, and 74 points to his slug. In the month of June, he has added 119 points to his OPS. Jacked up! He has, in 54 games before June, he had 8 multi-hit games. He has 5 in his last 8 games. In fact, back-to-back games of multi-hit games. 3 extra base hits out of the 7 hits that he's had the last 2 games. 2 home runs and the double. And constantly continuing coming through, whether it's a lefty or not. Home run off lefty, line drive back up the middle off lefty. He's proving that lefty or not, the approach is working and what we've talked about. And by the way, I know people are going to say, well, I'm not going to give Q credit for doing something he should have done anyway. I'll give him credit for when we saw more success from Jack against lefties, maybe not even a hit, but that at bat against Aroldis Chapman, Q's played him more against lefties. He's in there more often against lefties, and he's left him in there with lefty relievers as well. So I'll give him credit, but most of the credit goes to Jack for doing the things he needed to do to prove he should stay in against lefties.
I think most of the credit goes to me for saying that he should never sit versus lefties.
But that was a given, though. Michael, that was a given. That was the parenthetical aside, and then we go, now after the credit goes to Sterling,
yeah.
Jack gets the credit, and then I do think Q deserves some credit for it as well.
Stewed up.
That saying is jacked up. That saying is jacked up. I don't think that's a good
Don't
one.
look now. His OPS versus lefties higher than OPS against righties.
Can you take me higher?
815 versus lefties, 799 against righties. Both will play, but it's not just home runs. If you're thinking, oh, it's because he's hit some bombs.
That's what I'm thinking. He's hit bombs, right?
He's also hitting 288 versus lefties, 269 versus righties.
Nice.
It was my frustration to start the season. He's never shown to have a legitimate split lefties righties.
He was just bad last year. Righties or lefties, he was bad.
Well, he was bad last year, and he still was better against lefties than righties. Yeah. He had 140 OPS better against lefties than righties. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't get the thought process of why they thought he needed to be saved against lefties, because he's never shown that in his entire career. Yet, finally, again, we are seeing him in the lineup against lefties every single time. Point I still have some frustration with, and maybe they're saving him because the mental side, guys are different. They had no issue moving Carter to leadoff. Even during struggles, they had no issue to move him to leadoff. Yeah. But Kaggs has still been hitting 5th, 6th, and then against lefties 7th. Mm-hmm. And again, as I show you, he is excellent against lefties. Yeah. At some point, is it mental, or will they eventually move him up?
Well, and here's the thing that I think this is where, as the manager, needing to have the full respect in the clubhouse, and I'm not saying that Q does not have that, but what I'm getting at is having the full respect in the clubhouse, moving Garcia from 1 to 3 is still showing Michael Garcia a lot of respect. In fact, you're telling Michael Garcia, we want to put you into more advantageous positions to where Bobby's going to be on. You have more RBI opportunities now. I know you want to be leadoff, but that's the first at bat of the game. That's it. Leadoff, first at bat of the game, you're leadoff. After that, the odds of you leading off an inning aren't great, okay? Unless it's a no-hitter, a perfect game, not even a no-hitter because somebody can walk. So moving him from 1 to 3 is still showing respect for him as a batter. Moving Kaggs from 7 to 4 is dropping Vinny and Salvi, saying this is actually worse spot to be in for you guys. And if you want to go left, right, left, you would just drop Vinny all the way to 6, Salvi from 4 to 5. So you're taking Vinny from 4 to 6, Salvi 4 to 5 to move Jack up to number 4. I'm okay with that, by the way. This is not something where I'm going, you can't do that. But Michael from 1 to 3 to move Carter up to number 1 is still saying, Michael, you're an awesome hitter. You're right there in the heart. Dropping Vinny from 4 to 6 and Salvi from 4 to 5 to move Kaggs up is telling them you're actually moving down in the order for less opportunities. But by the way, that's what you've earned.
Yes.
You should get what you earn. The back of the baseball card for Vinny has a longer established track record, and Salvi as well. But Salvi's struggling a lot right now. He's now under the Mendoza line. Again, he's now down to 197, Salvi is. He's really, really struggled.
You can't put him that high, though. Right now,
Right.
you got to switch him and Kaggs. And
Totally fine with that. If you just flipped him and Kaggs, but then you'd have Kaggs and Vinny back-to-back, maybe against a lefty, you flip that.
Sure.
Against a righty, okay, whatever. Vinny and Kaggs and Vinny back-to-back, because we've also seen that it ain't exactly like after Michael, they bring in a lefty to go against Kaggs and Vinny, and it's like, well, these guys can't hit lefties. Well, we've seen that Kaggs can.
Vinny is still not good against lefties, but Kaggs has been. Again, there's no split that says the other or says opposite. Vinny's starting to hit the ball a little better.
Yeah, he is.
So you're a little more confident there overall that he's starting to figure it out. Salvi, I feel bad. He had a nice one to right field that was caught by the right fielder. That was a nice at-bat, nice swing.
Yeah, he needed about 7 more feet for that to be the record-breaking home run with George in attendance. Maybe he gets it today. I don't know.
That ball was hit very well, but what's funny is he's still tied for the team lead in home runs, Salvi, and so I have no issue with him necessarily playing right now. Obviously, you need him to.
Yeah.
He's OPS in 577, but at least provides some power.
Some.
But
I do wonder if there's the record on his mind and there's going for more power.
And it's not working.
While you're at home to try to get that home run to break Georgia's record and to get that done and to get, 4 more at-bats or 4 more home runs anywhere else to break Georgia's overall home run record for the Royals. I don't know if there's more of swinging for the fences for Salvi because the power hasn't been there and the hits haven't been there and the on-base hasn't been there. The average hasn't been there.
He cannot hit fourth.
Production hasn't been there.
He cannot. He hit fourth last night.
Yeah.
He cannot hit. I get it's a lefty.
4 for 5.
I get it's a lefty. He cannot hit fourth. I love Salvi. I think he's a Hall of Famer in my mind, but he cannot hit fourth right now. I mean,
3 and 4 went 0 for 9 last night.
Yeah,
and 1 for 10 in getting on base in plate appearances, and that was Michael's walk.
Yeah, just to me, I don't know when that conversation has to happen. I get Salvi probably won't be thrilled by it, but you're hitting 7th now. You're hitting 7th.
Yep.
I don't see any other way.
If it's a righty, I'm totally fine with that. Although I don't need to move. Who would be in that 6th spot if Cags is 4 and Benny's 5?
Yeah. I don't care who it is.
By the way, Cags is batting 4th today.
Is that already out?
So we're talking about this, and I didn't see the lineup because it came out right as we were going on the air, so I did not see the lineup. So what we're talking about, the Royals have done. So I appreciate the texts that have come in.
Salvi's not even in the lineup today.
Jensen's leading off. Witt's batting 2nd. Vinny's batting 3rd. Cags is DHing and batting 4th. Lane Thomas in right field batting 5th. Michael Massey at 2nd batting 6th. Meisner in center batting 7th. Lofton at 3rd batting 8th. Collins in left batting 9th. Waka pitching and not hitting.
So the 9, the guys went 0 for 9.
Mm-hmm.
Little rest day.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Garcia and Salvi, little rest day.
That's a good call. Yeah, that was your 3 and 4 hitter last night, went 0 for 9. Your 3 and 4 hitter today is Vinny and Cags.
And by the way, who knows with Garcia with the hamstring still?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
There's still maybe some lingering effects there.
Yeah. But I like this. I'd like it even more to see what it would look like if Michael's fully healthy and it's Carter, Witt, Michael, Cags, Vinny. Or what's it look like if Michael isn't back to hitting like he did a year ago, if it's Carter, Witt, Vinny, Cags, Michael.
You'll have some options.
Massey, Salvi.
Massey's been pretty hot.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even be afraid to throw Marte in there right now the way that he's hitting.
I'm cool with Cags DHing. You know,
I'm fine.
He's played a lot of outfield. He's
had a day off with his legs, and he, the running into the wall and everything.
Yeah,
so, yeah, totally fine with that.
Cool to see Cameron Meisner. I'm excited to see him get a little opportunity because
didn't need to see him pinch run for Cags as if Cags is slow and Meisner's Terrence Gore or something.
Yeah, that was a little.
Yeah, I'm like if that comes around to where Meisner has to bat and Cags is on the bench because you pinch ran for him as a guy at first base and acting like Cags doesn't have speed. But I do want the larger picture and the larger question to me is this the beginning of Cags becoming the guy more consistently what they thought they were getting with the number 6 pick and why they told him, we don't need you on the mound anymore. We need your bat, and we're going to put you in right field. Your bat will play wherever, and you're going to become a really good right fielder because you're athletic, and you can throw 97 from right field, and people are going to stop running on you. That is a weapon for the Royals. 1st to 3rd is going to be given a whole lot more thought with Cags and right. 2nd to home, more thought with Cags and right. Tagging up from 3rd, more thought with Cags and right because he's throwing it at almost 100 from right field, and he's pretty damn accurate too. And he got the one last night. I mean, you're talking about 3 feet away from being an absolute perfect throw. But it was so fast that it was okay that Salvi could go up the third baseline a few feet, grab it, and still get the tag. on Ezekiel Duran there. It's close. Replay, whatever. Call stands. It was that close. Of course, later on, call did not stand when it was that close too. But if you're guessing right now, and we can talk way more about this as the next couple of weeks come and go, if you're looking at it right now, what you've seen from Cags, is this the beginning of this is the guy he'll be closer to? Or is this an amazing hot stretch that even MJ Melendez in 2024 had a stretch of 6 weeks where he OPS'd at almost 900?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to hit 538 and OPS at 1,500 for the season.
God, you're such a hater, dude.
But I do think, yes.
We'll call you Bill from now on. Bill Hater over here.
This is more or less who he is. The underlying metrics support this. Nothing seems fluky.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seems legitimate. He was unlucky a little bit last year, and then I think he got in his head. He was unlucky at times to start the season, and now the luck's starting to turn. I mean, even that one up the middle, I feel like last year, earlier in the year, that's caught.
Yeah, that's right. It's like 2 feet lower, and Nicky Lopez catches it.
Right. And no, it's Jack coming through. Again, the metrics support it. The defense, the range might never be great because of his size. It's going to have some learning curves there. But you're so right about the arm. It almost reminds me of him in the outfield a little bit. Now, people only remember this version of this guy in Kansas City, and he was horrible. But the Padres version, to an extent, remember Hunter Renfroe?
I remember him. Yeah.
Not in KC.
Familiar.
But when he was good,
I'm familiar with him.
His outfield reminds me of Jack, where the arm is incredible. He might not have the most range, but the arm keeps people from moving on you. Eventually, people stop running on Hunter. Not in KC, the other version. Cags is starting to do that. And by the way, Cags has not played outfield that long.
Nope. We need to take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. Kent Swanson will join us at noon. We'll get into some NBA at the 11 o'clock hour. We'll talk about Patrick Mahomes and why this was unprecedented that the Chiefs did for Patrick Mahomes. Why the particulars and details mean more for this contract than some of the other contracts that are presented, phrased, and reported with certain terms. This one having those, but it's different. We'll talk about that as well. More Zone coming up next. The beautiful game, it is here. Today, we are 3 hours away from the World Cup getting underway here in the United States. 31 years ago, well, I guess 32 years ago, the last time the United States hosted a World Cup game, and Mexico in action today. They are trading in that market at 70% to win the match today, which $140 or $100 will get you $140. But if you look at Group A, this is what I find to be interesting. The market for the winner of Group A, it's Mexico, the Republic of Korea, Chechnya, and South Africa. Mexico's trading at 59% to win the group. That seems pretty low for them being the best team out of that group. And here's what's cool about Kalshi is if you're trading against peers in a live market, which you are, there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position at Kalshi. 59%, that's what Mexico's trading at right now. $100 is going to win you $164. What happens when they win today? They win today, that 59% is going to go up. It ain't going to go down, it's going to go up. And then you can trade out of your position if you want to. It's much different than some other places when there is not a house that you're dealing with. And Kalshi is the largest prediction market out there and the first federally regulated financial exchange dedicated to trading on the outcome of future events. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code JASON810, JASON810 to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, 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 trade the beautiful game.
18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
All right, wrapping up this hour. On the other side of the break, we'll talk about what the Kansas City Chiefs did. It was a big day for the Holmes family yesterday. They'll be able to feed their kids now. I feel good.
Thank God.
Yeah, I feel good about their family, and it's like Forrest Gump said when he found out about Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, that they said, I no longer have to worry about money, which is one less thing I have to worry about, which is nice.
Out here crying poor and destitute.
Out here crying poor. And so for the Mahomes family, they no longer have to worry about money after the contract yesterday. Before that, you got a lot of stressors. Paycheck to paycheck is what I think they were living when they were buying $100 million houses. Every paycheck. They were living paycheck to paycheck by all of the houses they were buying, I guess. I don't know. But it was unprecedented is what I'll continue to call it, and I'll explain why next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Mexico in action today as the World Cup gets underway, taking on South Africa, and then South Korea against Chechnya, 9 o'clock tonight, 2 o'clock for Mexico, South Africa.
Thanks for teaching me how to spell that or pronounce that. Czechia.
Sure.
Well, I thought it was like, because it used to be Czechoslovakia.
I may not be pronouncing it right. I'm Americanizing
I just trusted
it.
you. Yeah, I felt
appreciate
so bad.
that.
I'm like, I feel bad. I
appreciate that.
I respect your country. I just don't know how to pronounce
my country. I respect my country too. You better respect my country as well.
Well, I'm wearing an American flag belt.
This land is my land. This land is your land.
But
all right,
I looked it up. Czechoslovakia was gone in 1992.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, that's
why
yeah.
I'm 32 years late. 34 years late.
Yeah, that's right.
When did that happen?
You just said when it
34
happened.
years ago.
You literally just said when that happened.
How do I?
Oh my God! You got a haircut yesterday? When the hell did that happen?
Was I doing like
yesterday?
Was I looking at old maps back in the day?
You need to update
Is it still Burma?
Your Encyclopedia
Or is it
Britannica.
Myanmar? Is it Burma or Myanmar? No one knows.
Your 1985 encyclopedia isn't up to date today. It's not like Google. It doesn't update with more references at the end like a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I'm late.
It doesn't do that. Yeah, you are. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes here and being under contract until he's 38 years old in Kansas City. They added 2 years. It's a contract extension of 2 years, but it's essentially an 8-year deal now. There were 6 years left on his deal. It was 6 years, $265 million. He's now getting an 8-year, $504 million contract. There are times when you'll see a contract, Sterling, in the NFL that will say, this guy signed a 4-year extension. He had 1 year left on his deal. He signed a 4-year extension, and there's going to be $25 million in new money, which essentially comes out to $5 million a year in new money. Like, okay, great. It's $5 million a year in new money. Like, let's actually put in the new money into perspective of what it is. But this one specifically, it's one thing to give a player a raise and say, you know what, you've earned this. The contracts in the NFL have surpassed you, which shouldn't happen. It's how the NFL works, right? We understand that. But you deserve to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL because you're the best quarterback in the NFL. Now, it still adds in the guaranteed mechanisms. But when you talk about new money added, it's new money of $240 million on only 2 years. They added 2 years and added $240 million of new money. All they did with Patrick Mahomes was say, we're just going to give you a massive raise. Yeah, that's what they did. They didn't have to. They didn't have to do this. They could have played it out for 2 or 3 more years. They could have gone into this season and said, let's see what that knee looks like. Do we need to really make sure he's under contract till he's 38? Because, I don't know, what if that knee becomes chronic? What if he injures it again this year? Now we are contractually connected and obligated to have him at quarterback until he's 38 years old? Look, man, it's a cold game. It's a business. We all love Patrick Mahomes and hope that he's going to be 42, 43 years old, still playing for the Kansas City Chiefs and winning Super Bowls. That would be amazing. But there's also the reality of athleticism and ability declining over the years. They didn't have to do this right now. They essentially said, we think you're the best player in the NFL. We're going to take you from being a $45 million a year player to the highest annual average value player in the history of the NFL, and $3 million more than the next guy. It's $63.1 million per year. Dak is at 60. They didn't go 60.1. But like 60.1. Now, when you're talking about all of the money that's there and you break it up over 8 years, okay, it comes up to $3 million more per year. When you're talking about 60 at 63, it's sort of a, a small difference that isn't necessarily worth, looking at the fine print there. It's 63 million, 60 million. It's roughly the same. It's a rounding error.
Small difference.
I know, but it's a rounding. Look, from 1 million to 4 million, life changing.
Yeah.
60 million to 63, rounding error, essentially. But this is not something that's happened in the NFL before. We've seen guys get extensions, and it's, oh, look at the new money with this guy. Right, but they ripped up the contract, and the extension is adding 3 years to what was, with 2 years left on his deal. So it's a 5-year deal, and they're adding this new money, but now it's a 5-year deal. They're giving him 2 extra years and $240 million, $120 million raise on 2 years added to the contract. It's something we've never seen in the NFL before, and the Chiefs didn't have to do this.
One, I would love to be his agent. Congratulations to him, because that agent, retire if you want.
Can you retire off the first one, the $450 million?
You are now officially able to retire. 2, this is still a situation that's can be good for the Chiefs, because now you can have the bank of Patrick almost every single year yet again.
Again, because they had been kicking the can down the road.
Correct, and now
2 more years to kick it down the road.
And now you have a couple more options of kicking the can. I know it's a lot of money, but again, in 4 years, we're probably going to see AAVs surpass this, and it'll yet again be one of those things where we look back and go in 4 years and go, what a deal the Chiefs have with Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, like, when Josh Allen eventually gets that next contract, right?
Yep.
Or name a guy. Hopefully Denver does something dumb with Bo Nix. That'd be great.
Lamar.
But
Joe Burrow.
I think this is a huge thing for Clark Hunt. Give him credit.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of money.
Right in the
That
check.
is, what is it, $689.05 million is what's committed that the Clark Hunt family has to commit for. I mean, that's...
Yeah. It's the first ever now $500 million contract.
So,
it's the first ever $400 million contract for Mahomes at $450. Now it's the first ever $500+ million contract.
It looks like
$504.
from 22 to 33, so in 11 years, it looks like $689.05 million is what's been committed by.
pretty good.
I mean, not bad. So give them credit. But again, this allows, when you have stuff like this, the flexibility and the willingness. Because Patrick's been willing. I know you don't have to ask him.
Yeah.
It just the way it was written,
Right.
you could just do. But this clearly shows the communication between both parties of, 1, we trust you. 2, we trust that knee. 3, we think last year was an aberration. And then 4, hey, we're collaborating here. This is going to be a team effort. All this money, it's a lot. We know that. But the bank of Patrick will be open for the rest of us.
But also, we're never going to get sideways with you.
Also true.
Because you signed the contract. Okay, we've held up our end of the bargain in the contract. There are still 6 years left. So we've adjusted it already with some void years. We've worked that in with you. Obviously, it helped us too, but it also made you a very, 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 very wealthy man along the way. They could have simply said, we'll come together in a couple of years and look more at this. But there was also the part of the offseason in his contract that we knew they were getting to a point of when they were going to have to pay him.
Correct.
That particular money. Like
because the cap hit was gonna get was like an 84 at some point in there, and it got into the 70s, I thought, and so the cap hit became so drastic that it was going to have to be restructured to begin with.
Yeah, and we knew that it was getting to the point of, all right, this is now the year where it's going to have to be a contract restructure. And that's when it was going to get to the point of 2027 next year. His salary cap hit was going to be $85 million.
That's what it was, yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're probably going to have to do something next season. They did it this year. And again, I think what they've done is they've gone out of their way. Both sides. I think this is one hand washing the other. Both sides. The Chiefs have gone out of their way to say, Patrick Mahomes, we know you're the franchise. We're going to pay you like that. All of these people that are dumb, non-ball knowers, as Sterling would say, that think Patrick Mahomes is a product of Andy Reid, while simply pointing out and saying, well, yeah, but Andy Reid made the playoffs every year before Patrick Mahomes. Well, Andy Reid made a Super Bowl before Patrick Mahomes. And not acknowledging that Andy Reid had made one Super Bowl before Patrick Mahomes and never played in an AFC championship game with the Chiefs before Patrick Mahomes, and then went to 5 Super Bowls in 6 years and an AFC championship game every single year with Patrick Mahomes until last year. Not acknowledging that. The Chiefs are acknowledging that. That, yes, Andy is a big part of it. But Andy couldn't do this until number 15 got here. And those guys together have done this. But Patrick, we know that it's a big portion of that is you. And also, it's a credit to the guys that work hard and do what they're supposed to do. Maybe you don't have the talent to get there. Maybe you can work. I can work as hard as I want to go be a wide receiver from now until the end of time. I'm never going to make it in the NFL. But when you have the ability Patrick has, combined with the work ethic to know everything, the offense, be in physical shape, that gets rewarded. Jamarcus Russell didn't get rewarded. He wasn't watching film. Other guys that are just sort of going through the motions, you're not getting rewarded. Trey Smith is the highest paid guard. I promise you, if Trey Smith were an AH and players didn't like him and he was a malcontent, they would have walked. But he's a hard worker. He's a locker room guy. He's a AH on the field, right? And so they repaid that. Creed, they repaid that. Nick Bolton, they are not afraid to pay guys like that if it fits. McDuffie's like that, but it didn't fit. They couldn't go that route.
You can't with
to pay him
everyone
all that
and
much money.
It's
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, Brandon Ayuk's a perfect example. Brandon Ayuk's a very good wide receiver.
Yep. Nobody's clamoring to get Ayuk
And after
right
you
now.
hear his last, I don't know if you heard his comments last time.
yeah.
That was, well, they shouldn't have paid me that much money up front. That's on them. What?
So stupid. And A.J. Brown, the only place he was going to land is with Mike Vrabel. Like, if Mike Vrabel's out of coaching, I think A.J. Brown's still an Eagle. Because it was that A.J. Brown and Mike Vrabel have a great relationship. And Mike Vrabel hated the trade of A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown's talked about his relationship with Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
That's why everybody knew he was going to be a Patriot. You just had to wait till June 1 to be able to do that. But I don't know if Mike Vrabel's not a Patriot. I don't think A.J. Brown is a Patriot.
Stephon Diggs, what did he have last year? Over 1,000 yards?
Yeah, he had 1,000, I think 1,100. And then moved on.
Yeah, over 1,000 and 4 touchdowns. And
He had 1,004 touchdowns last year. Is that a record for 1 year?
1,013 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Still out there. Again, this is the point. It's if you are not just the talent, you have to be a good dude to get these exorbitant contracts in, I think, any sport.
Yeah.
Really. There's always exceptions to the rule. Always exceptions. But the Chiefs have done a very good job of identifying what guys fit their culture.
Yeah.
And those are the building blocks. You're right. Mahomes, building block. Trey and Creed, building block. Kelsey, building block. Chris Jones, building block. Nick Bolton, building block. What have any of those guys ever done both locker room or off the field?
Yeah. What the worst thing Travis did was wear a free 4 shirt. I mean, honestly.
Drink a beer?
I mean, but honestly, like, since they've been giving him the money. Because early on, he was incredibly immature.
Immature, yes.
Off the field at Cincinnati, he had some issues, but also that's issues that aren't, illegal in a lot of states anyway now. But he had a lot of immaturities and some, back and forth with Andy. But as he's grown and they've invested the money in him, he's become a leader. But also because while he was immature, he's still one of the hardest workers out there. He's still doing all that.
And Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed, when they got those large contracts, like if you really think about where they've invested, they care a lot about the culture.
Which is why I don't see them.
It's why Stephon Diggs, I don't see.
And I don't see them re-signing Rashee Rice after this year.
Agreed. That would, to me, be the exception.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, to an extent, was an exception. Right, bringing him back, but also wasn't a large investment. That wasn't them saying, "Hey, we're giving you a lot of." That's why the Rashee Rice thing. I just, unless it's literally like a $3 for $6 million.
I mean, it's got to be ridiculous.
It would have to be. I don't see them investing because it's not what this team has done.
Yep.
and maybe I'm missing an obvious one right in front of my face, but Marcus Peters wasn't a clubhouse. I love Marcus Peters. Really good player. Wasn't a clubhouse fit.
They traded him.
Locker room fit. Traded him.
Justin Houston, Eric Berry, some of the things that were maybe not necessarily Eric Berry, but some of the things where it's like these guys aren't showing up. And so they moved on from him eventually. And then they got Frank Clark, who was a guy that the mentality, all of that stuff. So there have
Now,
been
he had a couple of
off the field stuff, but it wasn't a off the field stuff combined with he's not necessarily working as hard or doing the things around the other players that you would like to see. This, like we saw the Seattle Seahawks get sideways with Russell Wilson. Joe Burrow, this offseason is vastly different for the Bengals, but I think they might have been an offseason away from Joe Burrow wanting a trade. And they then spent money, made trades this offseason to go and improve the defense after giving Chase and Higgins that money. So I think they've gone a long way this offseason of making sure they don't get to the point of Joe Burrow demanding a trade. The Lamar and Baltimore thing continues to be an odd relationship there.
Baffling.
Yeah. Josh Allen in Buffalo looks like that thing's going to be a happy marriage for a long time.
Agreed.
We'll see what Bo Nix and Sean Payton end up looking like since they've already had their butting heads after making an AFC championship game. They've already gone that route.
It's always good.
Yeah, always good to get that done early. We'll see what that ends up being. But there's a part of like making sure he knows he's appreciated, the player, this one specifically being Patrick Mahomes, in players you put around him. Like, hey, we're going to make sure you have an offensive line that's going to protect you and players to throw the football to. That's one part of it. The other part of it is, and we're going to make sure you know contractually, financially, we believe in you to a high level. And so we're going to pay you that particular money, and we're going to give you a 2-year extension and $240 million more.
The only concern, again, I'm thrilled with this, by the way. I'm happy. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, just so that way we have a little bit of back and forth here, this is the first real almost baseball contract we've seen. Deshaun Watson probably would have been considered a baseball contract, and that
it was fully guaranteed.
Yeah, and that was obviously a very different situation, vastly different situation. But with Patrick, I guess the concern would be we are seeing quarterbacks go into their late 30s, early 40s, and still be successful. Look at Matthew Stafford, won an MVP last year, right at his age, and I think we all agree, Mahomes, hard worker. This isn't going to change anything for him. He's going to be. We all assume he's going to be one of those guys that's effective until that age. But this is a baseball contract where it's basically fully guaranteed.
Yeah, because the guaranteed mechanisms, and it's what we talked about when he signed the contract initially, the $450 million contract, that people are saying, well, I mean, he's only got this amount of money guaranteed. Like that's I don't know that that's really, you know, it was a $10 million signing bonus, and of $450 million, only $140 was guaranteed over 10 years. And it's like, wow, that's $14 million a year guaranteed. But it was being ignored, the guaranteed mechanisms.
Correct.
Because it was like, here are the guaranteed dollars, but this season isn't guaranteed, this season isn't guaranteed, this season is guaranteed. Well, actually it is, because 2027 becomes guaranteed March of 2025.
Yeah, it's...
You know, and it's like they're not going to cut a guy in March of 2025.
And also the dead cap hit didn't work. So this is basically...
It's like the practical guarantee versus the actual guarantee.
And the practical of this is basically a $504.75 million.
Right.
So the point remains, I love it, but there has to be a little bit of that baseball contract of how many of those massive deals work out at the very end. Miguel Cabreras did not work out, right? Steven Strasburg's never worked out. Already Fernando Tatis looks like, and he's young, isn't going to work out. Albert Pujols didn't work out. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, A-Rod's, I think, eventually didn't work out, if we want to be honest. Jacoby Ellsbury's didn't work out. Prince Fielder's didn't work out. I can't know if I think of one that did. Chris Davis didn't work out. I don't know if I can think of one that did. I mean, Bobby Witt's it was too young. It was so young, and it wasn't.
What did Freeman get?
His is probably working out so far.
I'm just trying to think of things that
Mookie,
have worked out.
Mookie Betts has worked out. Kyle Tucker's
far.
already looks like it's a bad one.
Yeah, Matt Olson has been awesome this year.
Been awesome. But
that's
again,
one of those rare Matt Olson and Freddie Freeman.
But also the baseball
Both
ones,
working
those are,
out.
a lot of those weren't those 10-year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically a 8-year deal now.
Yeah, where a good portion of the $500 million is going to go to Patrick Mahomes' wallet.
And
It's
so
going to hit the bank account.
And so that's the only concern would be, again, I'm not saying it's a bad deal. I'm not saying I wouldn't have done it. I'm thrilled. But again, if you're playing the other side here, those last 3 years, right? Are we looking at a Albert Pujols situation where you're going, yeah, forget these last 3. We know what they were. We're paying all that for the first 5.
But we also have to throw in, and this is where you can't count on this being the case because a lot of owners and GMs counted on 2021 or 2020 and 2021's cap being much different than what it ended up being because there was an epidemic that took place. Mm-hmm. But there is an expectation and a prediction that like 2028 is going to be almost $400 million, the salary cap.
Yeah.
At that point, like the percentage of the cap for Mahomes versus if he's making $80 million against the cap on a $250 million cap hit, that's a little bit different. Or an $80 million cap hit on $400 million,
yeah,
obviously much different. Now you can't just say we're gonna backload all of this because the salary cap's gonna be $500 million because we don't know what's right around the corner. We don't know what 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 1 year from now is going to happen. But part of the strategy and the planning is that this percentage of the cap will be lower as the salary cap rises. So it doesn't have that big of an impact, which is the same thing for any other team that's signing quarterbacks. Like we've talked about, well, now the Bills have to worry about Josh Allen. Well, now, not just the Ravens, but the Bengals, but eventually the Broncos are going to have to make a deal and figure out Bo Nix. The Justin Herbert contract will continue to escalate. But as we talk about that with Patrick Mahomes, we also talk about it with them as well. As the salary cap goes up, that's less and less of a hit. The difference is those teams were working with rookie deals that eventually have to be representative deals that are next to their peers, and it does change your economics and bookkeeping from that standpoint. The Chiefs have been dealing with this for a number of years, so this is not going to change their standard operating procedure in the offseason. They've been doing these guaranteed mechanisms for 4 years, 5 years already, and it's worked out well. It's allowed them the flexibility. There have been years where they've taken the full amount to kick down the road, and there have been years where they haven't touched it and just said, this is what the salary cap is this year. There have been years where they dabbled in it, took a little bit here or there. So they have that every year to be able to do that, and now you've got 8 years worth of this. But $240 million of new money on a 2-year deal when you didn't have to do it, when you still had 6 years. Again, if he had 1 year left on his contract or 2 years, okay, you're at a point where you got to do it. He had 6 years left. And all they did was say, we're going to give you a massive raise because you've earned it. We'll see what they do around Mahomes.
Yeah.
With playmakers. But hopefully Xavier Worthy and some of the things he said this morning will result in coming to fruition of him discussing all of last year and his limited routes that he could run with the torn labrum, how he couldn't be physical at times with the torn labrum, and now he's fully back to 100%, and he does look a little more yoked. He does look bigger and stronger.
I told you, I was buying stock when he was down.
His arms are thick. Like, okay, this guy put in work. This guy put in work to get bigger, but he also, we know he's tough as nails.
Yes.
Because he played with, a broken hand at Texas, and then he played outside of 3 plays, literally the rest of the year with the torn labrum. Outside of 2 plays, because it was the 3rd play of the year.
Right, yeah.
So
2.5.
he played 2.5 plays healthy, and the rest of the season with a torn labrum.
Yeah.
And I'll give him a reprieve on the criticism that I had with he and Taekwon in the game we talked about in the All-22 of Taekwon and Xavier Worthy running the same route up at the left side of the formation, which on the broadcast is the top, and Mahomes on the broadcast cut drops back, throws to the left, and it's like 2 feet in front of Worthy that's running a comeback, but out right at the sticks. And it's like, oh my God, Mahomes, that's inaccurate. I mean, Worthy looked open, and he throws it at his feet. And then 2 series later, it's the same play, and he hits Tyquan Thornton right between the number. And it's like, okay, there's a great throw. Then you watch the All-22, and you see Tyquan stop, cut, back to the football. And then you see Xavier Worthy stop, fade, get pushed around a little bit, and is late to come back to the football. Okay, well, I'll give him a little more benefit of the doubt. If Andy Reid is saying there are things that we knew behind the scenes that he couldn't do, sometimes we put him in positions to where he wasn't as best fit to do that as he would have been in years past. And Xavier Worthy saying there were physical things that I couldn't do with my arms last year. Okay, I'll give him benefit of the doubt that one might have been that. That maybe a fully healthy labrum shoulder, he stops, forearm shiver, keeps the defensive back off him, cuts back, catches the ball the way that Tyquan did.
Hey.
We'll see, but I have to see it first.
Healthy Worthy, Chad O'Shea.
Yeah.
Tell defenses, is this Kenny Loggins?
What is it? What are they doing? Are they getting somewhere?
Because you're in the danger zone.
I knew they were getting to the danger zone. Yeah.
Or I could say this is it.
Yeah. I like that Xavier Worthy said that Chad O'Shea is really drilling in on the little things and really drilling in on creating good habits every day. I like that that's the case. That's good. So I guess that was missing the last few years. He's really energetic, and it's great to have somebody with that much energy. Well, that we can see from press conferences of the difference in energy. Just the different wide receiver coaches talking to the media with energy. But it's good that you have a wide receiver coach that's like, no, we need to create good habits every day. As opposed to, I don't know, let's go out and get a beer. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. By the way, appreciate Jim Wood on Twitter. Fun talking with him. I said, I think Isaac Collins, it feels like he's 0 for 9 on the season for challenges. He's 3 for 9. So he's got 3 right, he's got 6 wrong. So he's not 0 for 9, but he is 1 out of every 3.
Not great, Bob.
Should probably just not challenge, is what I would go with. Let's play this clip here. This is from yesterday. Joey McGuire, the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, got themselves one hell of a quarterback in the offseason. And we talked a lot about what's taken place over the last couple of days. Here is Joey McGuire, Texas Tech head coach, trying to present to the listening audience about maybe giving a little more grace to Brendan Sorsby, and this isn't as bad as people are making it out to be.
Brendan Sorsby is recovering from an addiction. He's recovering. Like, I've sat down with this young man multiple times, and the things that he is going through and what he's been through is serious. As a society, we've been okay with other things that happens and allowing players to play, and this has been the one thing that has united people that we're against, you know. And it's crazy because it's not murder, it's not beating somebody, or it's so there's a lot of things that we're working through.
It's beating the books.
I mean, so a couple things there.
We have a new society clip, but
I know.
As a society,
where are we?
As
a society. But this is where, was it? It was Jerome Tang when he was talking about the player from Illinois that got $1 million, and it was 2 years ago, didn't live up to it, and they talked about how the money is pressure, and everybody's talking about the money and the money this and the money that, and Jerome Tang said, you know, you don't hear other people and other sports talk about how good or bad a player plays based on money. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? That's all people talk about. Like, Jawan Taylor is talked about as being a bad right tackle because he makes $20 million a year. And if he made $1 million a year, it'd be like, you know what? Pretty damn good. Pretty damn, like, that's what's talked about constantly when it comes to the money. Look at Darren Peterson last year. How much money they paid for Darren Peterson and not getting the return. So for coaches to continue to talk about things like this, where, well, we've seen other things where everybody's been okay with. Who's been okay with somebody playing after murdering somebody? Or beating somebody up? I think he's talking about domestic violence.
As a society.
As a society, it's such a false equivalence because there is no collective, yay, this guy gets to play after like a DV arrest. But to act like, oh, we're good with that. No, we're not good with that. And that guy probably serves a suspension.
Yeah.
But the rule is not a lifetime suspension. Now, if you are a multiple offender, especially when it becomes the domestic violence part of it, you will get a lifetime suspension per the rules in the CBA. But it is not a, if you do this, it's the ultimate thing, which, you know, that can be litigated in the morality part of it. But it is negotiated in the CBA, which isn't negotiated in the NCAA, but they are member institutions that agree to the bylaws by being a part of the NCAA. And in those bylaws, it says that this is sort of the ultimate rule that you can't break. So there's a reason that people collectively are not okay with this, because it goes to the integrity of sports. We watch sports thinking that what is happening because the players are doing their best, trying to win, and there is not something that's rigged along the way. Which is why it's so dumb all of the people that have said the NFL is rigging it for the Chiefs. The NFL referees are so dumb, they suck, yet they're also incredibly good that they can collectively rig it for the Chiefs without ever being found. With all of the people that want to find all the evidence against the Chiefs, they don't actually have that. So the dummies out there that do that. But this goes to the heart of what people were saying when they were complaining about the referees and the Chiefs and trying to find reasons to downgrade the dynasty. It goes to the heart of it because will anybody, when Brendan Sorsby is on the field, can he ever throw an interception without somebody going, did he do that on purpose? Is Brendan Sorsby ever allowed in college to have a bad game and Texas Tech loses without somebody going, I think probably need to investigate that. Probably need to look into that. Was there some money that somebody he knew? He didn't have to necessarily benefit from it, but maybe a family member, a friend, something along those lines.
Which is great for his mental health.
Right. That's awesome. You got to, and to say like the beginning, you got to understand this guy is a recovering addict. Oh, great. So let's just keep him playing football then. It's like he's a recovering addict. Hey, coach, what's a recovering addict? Is he like a kleptomaniac? Like, what's the addict? Is it like, marijuana? Is it alcohol? Like, what's his addiction that he's dealing with? Oh, gambling on football. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is because he's a recovering addict is the reason he should play football? Like, are you serious? Like, look, this guy has dealt with alcoholism. Awesome. Let's go work at a bar with him. Let's go make sure that his life then is surrounded by a bar.
He'd be sad if he wasn't drinking.
Like
It'd make him depressed.
But it's so dumb though. Like you would never have that, right? You would never possibly say this person is battling demons. The best thing for him is to make sure his entire life is surrounded by those said demons and have to battle it every day. You can be a recovering addict. Nobody is saying that Brendan Sorsby should not be allowed to live. It's awesome that he's getting help that he needs. But it doesn't guarantee you to play football. It's not a right.
Correct.
To be able to play football when you break those rules.
Correct.
It's not a right to be able to do it. You got guys going to jail in sports for placing bets. And Texas Tech is all taken aback as if like, why are people upset that this guy bet, 40 different times on a team that he was playing for? Why are you guys all upset about this? I mean, I can't imagine. Why? Is it because dudes are going to jail for doing some of these things? Now it's individually like their own stats, and that's a little more egregious than essentially insider trading. But it's an inability to read the room. And you can't use the excuse he's a recovering addict and that's why he should play football when the addiction is about gambling on football.
Correct.
The other straw man that I've seen Texas Tech and supporters have is, okay, so they're just supposed to kick this guy to the curb and just dismiss him and never... Nobody said that. I don't care if he's a part of the team. He can be a part of the team, be around the guys. You can still, it's like we're trying to help this guy. Yeah, you can still do that. You can still help the guy. You don't have to kick him out of school. You can have him around. You can do some of those things. He just can't play.
He can go to classes.
Yes, he can. You know what? He can be the best scout team quarterback out there. But he's not going to play. He can practice.
I would disagree.
You wouldn't let him practice either?
No, he cannot be on the team. He can still bet as a scout team quarterback.
He could, but you don't.
He did.
But there isn't questions about him throwing. He did, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there aren't questions then about, okay, this guy's on the field is the integrity of the sport being manipulated. Where if he's the backup, I would have way more understanding of Texas Tech going, he's been deemed ineligible, but we're not going to kick him to the side. We think the best thing for him is to be insulated with us, continue to get the help that he needs, monitored by us, rather than go off on your own and figure it out yourself with an agent, manager, trainer, whatever it might be, and good luck in the supplemental draft in the NFL. That's totally fine. It's totally fine to say we care about the kid. Well, yeah, you can say you care about the kid, but you also care about the kid playing football for your team. The true indication of caring about the kid would be, I don't think he's ready to go out there. He did 35 days in rehab, and now we're going to put him right back in the fire as if it's all good. No, he hasn't proven long enough that this thing is behind him. And by the way, if he is truly an addict, it's probably never behind him. It's probably an everyday struggle that you battle. And you get to the end of the day and say, I didn't do that. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and not do that again. And you get to the end of the day and you do that over and over. And the next thing you know, it's years or a decade or longer, and it's amazing. But it's like 35 days, he's good. He's ready to play football. We're good. And I mean, Cody Campbell, who just continues to be a guy that went from, oh man, it's so cool that you would have somebody like this that's a part of your school and paying all that money. Man, I'd love to have that. But then he brings up and says, oh, people are going to boycott Texas Tech. They didn't boycott Penn State. Actual words from Cody Campbell. They didn't boycott Penn State because they fired everybody and had jail time, and the NCAA put the hammer down on Penn State. That's why they didn't boycott it. The NCAA was essentially saying you're boycotting yourself. Like, we're going to make sure teams boycott you. So Cody Campbell, I agree. They didn't boycott Penn State. Cool. Fire everybody at Texas Tech and people aren't going to boycott Texas Tech anymore. So if that's the comparison you want to make, just as Dummy McGuire makes the comparison that, you know, murderers and people that beat up other people, society's fine with them playing, which isn't true. Cody Campbell then saying, well, you didn't boycott Penn State. That is true. Just do what Penn State did and fire everybody. Cody, you do that. You make sure that Texas Tech, the board, everybody fires everybody at Texas Tech that is involved with him playing, and they won't boycott you. Done. If that's the comparison you want to make. Just don't be Dummy McGuire and Dummy Campbell. Like, think before you actually talk, which isn't easy for a lot of people. Sometimes myself included. But we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk with Kent Swanson coming up at noon. Wrap up this hour next. All right, folks, Jason Anderson here from my friends over at Kalshi. It is the world's largest prediction market and the first federally regulated financial exchange that is dedicated to trading on the outcome of future events. And it matters when we talk about being federally regulated because it's regulated in the U.S. and available in all 50 states. It is not a prediction market that is based in a different country that allows you to do certain things that you aren't allowed to do at Kalshi. More on the up and up, the way that it should be. And getting underway today, we are, 2 hours away from the beautiful game, the biggest soccer tournament taking place with Mexico in action. I really like the Mexico group stage market because it's trading right now at 59%. $100 is going to bring back $164. But if they win today, I think that market goes up a little bit, and that 59% could be traded a little bit higher. Maybe you stay with that, or you sell your position at that point, because that's what's great about Kalshi, because you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code JASON810. It's JASON810 to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, Kalshi. Kalshi, trade the beautiful game.
18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
All right, we'll talk some Chiefs football with Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Get his thoughts on the Patrick Mahomes contract. We talked a lot about that. L'Jarius Sneed back in the fold for the Kansas City Chiefs. Other positions that the Chiefs may be needing to look at. Maybe they can't anymore with the L'Jarius Sneed contract. We'll talk about some of those things. And I don't know, is there more excitement or higher hopes for Xavier Worthy this year based on Andy Reid talking about limiting his routes last year? Xavier Worthy today talking about, the different routes that he couldn't run and how great he feels and also the weight he's put on. Is there maybe some higher hopes for Xavier Worthy? We'll see. Ken Swanson next.
Kent Swanson of KCSN is brought to you by Dick Ray Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Are you planning to spend money on a new AC or furnace repair this year? Dick Ray can help. Show us a 2025 HVAC repair invoice from any company, and we'll credit that amount towards a new system up to $2,500. Call 913-DICK-RAY or go to dickray.com for details.
I will continue on this Thursday edition of the show. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. An hour from now, we'll play a little sports or leisure. Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, joining us here in the zone. Kent, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm having a great start to the summer. I hope the same can be said for you guys as well.
Absolutely. We are having a lot of fun. World Cup getting underway in just a couple of hours. It'll be here in Kansas City in a few days, so that's a lot of fun. I would have said Royals are playing a better baseball, but last night left a lot to be desired. But that's okay. Last night, Kent, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, the Kansas City Chiefs said, hey, Patrick, I know what we've paid you. Would you like a massive raise for what you've done? What's your reaction to what we saw with the contract, the 2-year extension? So now it's an 8-year, $504 million contract with almost $240 million of new money from the Chiefs to Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, they could have told me it was $100 million average APY over the next 6 years, and I would have been thrilled. I mean, I don't really care. I'm just glad to see that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs were able to come to a long-term continuation of their relationship that's going to make it even more likely that Patrick Mahomes finishes out his career in a Chiefs jersey. And I think the biggest development of that whole story yesterday was Mahomes saying on camera, hey, I'm excited to be a Chief for life. And that's really, the most important thing here, I think, because, I think there's a small intrusive thought of like, how happy is Mahomes going to be here when Travis Kelce's gone, when Andy Reid, if Andy Reid's gone. Those are pretty important mile markers, I think, in Mahomes' career. But, the way Mahomes is, kind of speaking, it does seem as though, he's going to usher in a new era of Chiefs football. He is going to be here for the opening of a new stadium, and he is going to see that thing through as a Chief for life. So I think that's the most important development. I don't care about the numbers. I'm just thrilled to see the excitement that Mahomes has to be in Kansas City for the duration of his career, and that's the most important thing possible.
Yeah, he's essentially under contract until he's almost 40 years old. I mean, until he's 38, they have him under contract with this 8-year deal that they have, which is, ripping up the 6 years left on his contract, give him a 2-year extension. It's now a new 8-year contract. But it's also, to me, Kent, you make sure that that the player knows you're not going to get sideways with him, that he knows that he's the franchise, and you're not going to squabble over some details in the money of, well, we're paying you this. You agreed to the contract. I mean, there's still 6 years left on the deal, Patrick. You sort of agreed to it. That's part of it. But also part of it is, they were getting to the point of where it was going to become more difficult to kick the can down the road with an $85 million cap hit next year and then having, 5 years left on the deal. So much more difficult to do that. So now you've got a new 8-year contract. You can include those guaranteed mechanisms. But they also didn't have to do it before they watched Mahomes take a snap on the surgically repaired knee. They could have easily said, let's see what it looks like. We'll readdress this next offseason and go this route. I think the Chiefs have gone out of their way to make sure that the relationship between Patrick and the organization is as solid and good and happy as we've seen with relationships, because there are times when we've seen quarterbacks and organizations get sideways and it doesn't end the way that people, or that it was at the beginning or even in the middle of their career.
Well, and credit to the Chiefs for taking care of business there, absolutely. And they would be foolish to do anything otherwise, because in the court of public opinion, I would be stunned if the Chiefs lost out to Patrick Mahomes by any perception that whatsoever. There's no chance that they would win any arguments there. And so I think, doing it, and not to say that's the reason that they're making all these, moves. I genuinely think the Chiefs are doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do for the organization, for the player, for what this, the stadium that Mahomes will be ushering in, and is the house that he built.
Yeah.
And there is no other way to slice and dice it. And yes, there's other pieces of this franchise that have played pivotal roles in the success. But ultimately, the reason the Chiefs are in the place that they are is because of 15. And it would be wise of them to maintain that relationship in the best manner that they possibly can. And I think doing this does. And I don't care if the surgically repaired knee was even a little questionable right now. I don't care. They should be operating in good faith for the player that has changed the fortunes of this organization and this city. They should be accommodating him and getting out ahead of things. And I'm glad they're doing it the way that they're doing it, because it's exactly how it should be done for, a generational player, the greatest to ever do the thing. So good on them.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a chance that there's a chance that this current contract that he could be playing on the Chiefs in a Super Bowl in Kansas City when they build the new stadium. But if he, plays a couple of years longer, because the Titans are opening up their stadium next year for 2027. And they've been given the Super Bowl in 2030. So 4 years of play, that would put it at, 2033, 2034 for the Chiefs when they would hopefully open up their new Arrowhead. So in theory, it could be Mahomes in the house that he built and hosting a Super Bowl, maybe playing there. We'll see if that's the case. One of the guys that he'll be throwing to this year is Xavier Worthy. And he became someone that, this offseason was sort of a lightning rod, at least for me, in what we saw from him last year. Did he regress? Was it too much put on his plate to have all of the routes from year one to year two? I had some frustrations with some of the routes and how he ran them. But then we hear after the season Andy Reid saying, well, yeah, we actually took a lot of routes away from him. He couldn't do some of the things we had planned. Xavier Worthy today, Kent talked about not being able to be as physical in some of those routes because of playing every snap outside of two with a torn labrum before he got it surgically repaired. Does that increase the hopes of maybe even the expectation of what Xavier Worthy can look like in year three, coming off of what felt like a disappointing year two?
Certainly. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think there's reasons for optimism. I think you talk about lightning rods. I think the wide receiver room's just been a lightning rod for criticism and lack of progress over the last few years, that it makes it tough. And it's so numbing to, I think, Chiefs fans to hear more commentary around the receiver room and buy it. But when you do look at, the context of Xavier Worthy's second year was challenging. I mean, you see him tear his labrum on mesh, the first game of the season and kind of hurt himself there. And that really does kind of, throw a wrench in some things for the remainder of the season there and how, he's able to perform. But, I think with Chad O'Shea's insertion into the wide receiver room as the coach and, another offseason removed from the injury, I think, there's hope, but I think it's hard to sell hope at the wide receiver position because of everything that's happened over the last 5 years at that spot.
Yeah. He talked about, Xavier Worthy did, he talked about Chad O'Shea. He was asked about what Chad O'Shea as the wide receiver coach, and he talked about how much energy he has, and it's great. And I know that anytime somebody mentions the new guy, it's easy to then say, okay, that's a direct shot at the previous guy. But it's not just him saying, well, he's really drilling in on the little things and trying to create good habits every day. What stood out to me, Kent, was when Xavier Worthy said the energy and those things that Chad O'Shea, those things that he's doing, it reminds me of my college coach. That stood out to me rather than just going, oh, we're doing this. Well, then that means you didn't do that then. Well, not necessarily. Sometimes you're just offering, just generic coach speak or player speak. What stood out to me is when he said, oh, well, everything we're doing, the energy, it reminds me of my college coach. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and I mean, it's hard to judge press conferences, especially when someone hasn't had, a ton of experience in those.
Yep.
And I don't want to just completely dunk on Connor Embry, but I think even outside of the impressions that he's made publicly, the lack of progress and development in the receiver room, the lack of energy that he seems to have, just in general.
Yes.
And look, there's different teaching styles, there's different personality styles, but it's hard to not see a stark difference. I mean, and even in some of the drills that you're getting to see publicly, like Chad O'Shea is making himself known and visible and loud, and he is displaying a high level of energy in going through the drills that they are going through. So, I do think I think that room needed a personality change as much as it needed technical instruction, as much as it needed, a different voice. They did need a different energy. And I think the hope and expectation is that Chad O'Shea is going to bring something that pulls more out of these players. Even just simply just completely changing, the personality type can go a long way sometimes in helping get a room right.
Kent Swanson's our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. All right, you wrote about, I guess, a little less than a week ago about roles for the Chiefs that they should consider filling, whether that be free agency or trade. And the first one you talked about, you list cornerback. And obviously this now comes into play with L'Jarius Sneed signing and returning to the Kansas City Chiefs. What's your reaction that L'Jarius Sneed and that reunion takes place with the Chiefs?
I mean, I'm not overly surprised by the fact that they did it. I mean, this is something that the Chiefs have done in the past. And, hey, one of the, staples of the organization, one of the key contributors in the past has made himself available, or let's just bring him back. Let's run it back with this guy. And I think it's been a trying time for L'Jarius Sneed over the last couple of years in Tennessee with injuries, with some personal stuff that he was kind of going through, and having some legal stuff hanging over his head that he was eventually, found not responsible for. It seemed like the path to least resistance to improving a room on this team. And, I think part of the, premise of that article I wrote about last week was like, hey, there's a lot of holes. There's a lot of needs on this roster that, this team has that we're not accustomed to them having this late in the process. You can make an argument for, several rooms, several positions to need improvements. And I think cornerback's one of them where you just needed some floor raising and some talent there to kind of add depth to the room. And, Sneed was the path to least resistance, I think, to improve this roster a little bit, right? Because the cost is going to be so low for him. And he, I think he has a legitimate chance to play a meaningful role on this roster because of his experience in this game, because of the talent he has that he just hasn't been able to or wasn't able to show in Tennessee. So, yeah, I know there's frustration about maybe not addressing the wide receiver position, maybe not addressing the edge position at this point, but this was an opportunistic way for the team to bring back a potential meaningful contributor. And I'll be honest with you, I think he will. I think he will play at a quality, capable level and make a meaningful contribution to that defensive back room.
Does this impact a specific player, particularly in your mind, or just, hey, the overall room now, somebody, if he makes the squad, is going to be out of a job that may have been on it?
Yeah, I know some people have pointed to Christian Fulton as like this really drastically affecting him. And I do think that to a degree that could be the case. But I think for me, it's Kyer Elam. Like, I think it's just roster opportunities, right? I think, he's probably the one that's most likely on the outside looking in when you're looking at the roster construction. And, I think Kader Kohu and Jaden Kennedy both make this team. So if that's the case, you're probably looking at 4 cornerbacks, and Noel Williams, Christian Fulton are locks for this roster. And then, I think L'Jarius Sneed will, and then obviously Mansour Delane. So there's your 6. So I think it's more about who winds up on the outside looking in the cornerback room rather than just opportunity on the field. But good depth now added to that room.
So the Fulton one I think is interesting. Sterling and I had a conversation when this happened, and I didn't think it was an impactful one for specifically Christian Fulton. That, as you said, was the easy or the most popular connecting of the dots. But you say there you think Fulton is a lock for the roster. Is that ability? Is that contractually? How do you? What are the reasons as to where right now on June 11th you think Fulton is on this team?
Well, I don't think that, for a lot of reasons, I don't think that it makes sense to add L'Jarius Sneed and immediately think that you can just get rid of Christian Fulton because you now have L'Jarius Sneed. Because yes, I have optimism about L'Jarius Sneed, but there is also some serious knee injuries that kept the Chiefs from signing him long term. So I think you have to insulate that room. I think L'Jarius Sneed is an insulation and a floor raising of the room, but that floor raising, that insulation has to include the remaining insulation there too. And I think Christian Fulton plays that role. And last year, like at the end of the season, he showed promise. I mean, he started to look a lot more like the guy the Chiefs thought they were signing when they signed into that 2-year contract. And it was an up and down year where he missed some time and had a hard time, kind of getting acclimated and being able to get his legs underneath him. And late in the season, he finally starts playing some capable football and showed some of the things that he'd shown in previous spots. So, I think it would be, I think even though the cap hit's a little bit higher in 2026, I think he's still a viable rosterable player. And when he's healthy and when he's, getting to play to his abilities, he can make a difference too. So, I think it makes way too much sense to hold on to Christian Fulton. I don't think I don't think L'Jarius Sneed's addition matters at all in considering whether or not they're going to keep him around.
Ken Swanson is our guest. I tweeted out when they first signed him, I said, look, I can see L'Jarius Sneed definitely being on this team and having a role ... as a safety. He played there at Louisiana Tech. We know that. A lot of people disagreed, and that's perfectly fine, but I want to get your thoughts on if L'Jarius Sneed could make a transition from wide corner, maybe even slot corner, but just cornerback in general to maybe safety. We've seen some guys do it in the past. Does that help his knee? Now, I mean, one of the more famous ones to do it is Charles Woodson, who is also like 15 pounds heavier than L'Jarius Sneed. So that matters, but it's not like L'Jarius Sneed is not a physical player. But is there a chance maybe that L'Jarius Sneed comes back on this team and it might be as maybe a dual role, cornerback slot, but also a safety and viewed that way?
Yeah, I think it's entirely in the range of outcomes. I don't know if I don't think I would make that the betting favorite for what role L'Jarius Sneed has, because we've also seen him be extremely successful in a press alignment, beating up receivers at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And that's a big piece of what made him such a force and one of the best cornerbacks in football before he signed that deal, with the Tennessee Titans. So, there is a history and a background to what he's done as an outside corner, but at the same time, this is a bad safety room too. It's a really bad safety room, and we've seen the Chiefs have preferences of slot players kicking down from that safety position, and so I do think L'Jarius Sneed could be someone that serves in that kind of role as well as that slot player that also can play from depth. I'm fascinated to see what the decision is ultimately with Sneed, because they do have some intriguing outside corners as well. Noel Williams and Christian Fulton both obviously Mansour Delane as outside corners. They might have enough outside that you kind of start getting a little bit more creative with L'Jarius Sneed. But, I think that will be one of the things is can L'Jarius Sneed show enough during camp, prove to be healthy, prove to show that he still has some of the things that he had as that guy in Kansas City a few years ago, and then does that involve him in the game planning? Does that involve Steve Spagnuolo finding ways to weaponize him because of what he's showing over the next couple months?
Ken Swanson's our guest. Last one for you. So you wrote about those different positions that they can fill, free agency or trade. now that cornerback / secondary, whatever, has been filled, what's the next most important one then? If the Chiefs find a way to free up a little more cap space or go out and address a position, which is the one that you think is the most important you'd like to see them address?
It's tough because wide receiver and edge are both, I think, big needs. I think I'd probably go with wide receiver just because there still is a ton of uncertainty around that room, right? You know, if you're optimism about Xavier Worthy, that's great, but also their wide receiver one is in jail. And you don't know what you're getting when he comes out of there. I don't know. We joked about this, and it's not a joking matter, but it's also, you know, you got to laugh at your own pain. You know, what's the rehab going to be like there? You know, how is he going to respond? Is he going to be able to be the guy that was probably going to lead the team in targets before jail? And so, you know, I think there's a potential for some need there that, you know, like you need some volume, you need some contribution there. So I think it's still wide receiver, even though, I mean, I think this team needs an edge rusher as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to have both. I'm not sure how that would happen. But Kent Swanton, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Kent, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother. As always, we will talk in a couple of weeks, man.
Yep, sounds good.
Absolutely. There's Kent Swanson. Great stuff from him. KCSN, KC Laboratory Podcast. You can go and check out the article that he wrote there at KCSN and the different positions, why the need at those particular positions that he went with, maybe some players that are out there that could be part of the plan. Certainly one of those was cornerback and L'Jarius Sneed that he wrote about. And L'Jarius Sneed now in the fold, making his reunion with the Kansas City Chiefs and getting number 38 back for L'Jarius Sneed. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. Coming up at 1 o'clock, we got a little sports or leisure that we will play. It's an hour and a half away from the World Cup getting underway. Tonight, Stanley Cup Finals, game number 5. You know, it's tied at 2 games apiece. That makes this a pretty pivotal game 5. 2 games apiece in the Stanley Cup. It is pivotal with this game coming up tonight. It's right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We will take a timeout, come back. We'll talk a little bit about the epic comeback or epic collapse last night. We got some sports or leisure coming up at 1 o'clock. Thursday edition of The Zone. We heard earlier today from Andy Reid and Xavier Worthy. Thank you to Kent Swanson joining us there in that segment. We talked a lot about, in the first hour, Royals, Jack Caglione. We discussed Patrick Mahomes' contract, got a little bit into Texas Tech and the head coach, and him letting everybody know that Brendan Sorsby did not murder somebody. So, and society's perfectly fine, and they're okay with players playing that have murdered people, which I'm not sure who he's talking about.
Society.
That's right. Thank you. That's not even that's not even Gundy. Where are we as a society?
As a society.
As a society, we're fine with guys that are playing that are murdering and beating people up. Are we fine with that? Not sure. Last night, the largest comeback in history, playoffs, finals, 29 points. The Knicks overcame, or the Spurs blew. Both are true, because both have to have a hand in that. You have to have a hand in the Knicks making the shots and getting the stops. The team that's up by 29 also has to have a hand in an epic collapse, which is what took place last night. And we were watching it happen, and in real time, there was the analysis that was taking place on Twitter or wherever, or anybody just simply watching the game. And to me, it was spot on. The Spurs were amazing from behind the arc in the first half. They were 14 of 26 from three. It's a reason why you score 76 points in the first half. Okay. It was working. Keep shooting. It was working. Keep shooting. They get the massive lead, and they keep chucking up threes in the second half. They went 3 of 17 from three in the second half, and they kept shooting and kept settling and kept shooting. I couldn't believe what I was watching. That it's this team that's just like, it almost felt like, let's just get out of here. We've worked so hard. We've built this lead. Now we can kind of coast a little bit. We don't have to work for better shots. We can settle for the mid-range. We can settle for three-pointers. We can do some of that. We'll get out of here and win the game. They ain't going to overcome 25 points with like 17 minutes to go in the game overall. It's all good. We're fine. And they just kept shooting and missing threes, shooting and missing threes in the game. And the Knicks went 11 of 20 from behind the arc in the second half. Massive difference in those things. OG was amazing. Yes.
On a heater.
5 of 5 from three.
Brunson,
19 points of his 33 in the second half.
Brunson was clutch.
Yep.
Yet again. That three over Wemby, that step back was insane.
I couldn't believe he got it off one and then made it too.
And also give credit, Jose Alvarado played some really big minutes late in that game. He had 5 straight points, right? He had the layup, then he had the big three when they were doubling Jalen Brunson. We obviously know how pesky he is on defense, but I want to give more credit to New York than I do taken away from the Spurs, because, the Spurs collapsed, and the offense decided to
become the Warriors.
And that's
the
not
Splash
who they
Brothers.
are. But the Knicks were just hitting shot after shot, tough buckets. I mean, the Brunson three, the Alvarado three, the Brunson little floater in the lane. I mean, there was just OG's shots perpetually, just finding ways to make hard buckets. I know people are ripping on De'Aaron Fox for that right there. He got fouled. He did get fouled.
No, Sterling. That whole thing was, because what I was seeing in the first half was that game was created to make sure this is a longer series, because it was obvious the NBA was cheating the Knicks in that game. So that clearly couldn't have been a foul, because the Knicks were getting screwed last night. The NBA was making sure this series was going to be 2-2.
The only one I was thinking of was it Luke Cornett, who had the obvious goaltend that wasn't called. That might be the one that I really was like, okay, that was a bad call. But I thought it was officiated fine for the most part.
They're just not calling fouls. I mean, it's
they let
just
you
like
play. It's the finals. Don't you want to see that versus
people bitched about Oklahoma City and San Antonio about all the free throws. Look at all the fouls you're sending. It's a free throw fest. And now it's like, why aren't you calling more fouls and sending these guys to the free throw line? Come on, man, free throws.
Love the physicality. Love the non-calls. De'Aaron, again, you have to make sure you make that or get fouled in that situation.
Yeah.
He did get fouled, right? His arm got slapped, and that's why he didn't go in. Great defense, if you want to say, because it wasn't called by OG, who then came down and had the tip in to win it.
Gets the block and the tip in, OG Anunoby does.
I think people are caught up too much on the result versus the why De'Aaron, I think, wasn't necessarily completely in the wrong there. Teams too often, they'll have a layup, and then they'll bring it back out, and then they miss a free throw, or both, which we saw Wemby miss 2. There's a lot of pressure in that situation. Castle made his. Great for Castle, but you never know how players react. That's a strong side. It wasn't like he's a right-handed guy. I know it's the NBA, but still, that's a strong side hand. De'Aaron's one of the fastest players in the NBA.
Yes.
I didn't have a massive issue with him trying to be aggressive and go up 3 right there with the layup. You just didn't get the call, and you weren't physical enough. And
I thought he was going to go up and dunk it. Like, I thought there was going to be more separation. So credit OG Anunoby for hustling and getting back. And he said that after the game, De'Aaron Fox did, and said, "I thought I was going to beat him to the layup. That's why I went and I thought I was going to beat him and go up by 3." And you can imagine where De'Aaron Fox is coming from because of how fast he is and the fact that he already had the momentum heading that way. But I thought he was going to go up strong, dunk it, up by 3. But as you said, I felt like last night that particular play, and a lot of people are talking about that play and focusing on that play. They blew a 29-point lead.
Yeah,
all right? That play, the later it gets into games, Sterling, the more we focus on those late plays.
Or how about Wemby missing back-to-back free throws?
Right. How about Wemby being 3 of 14 from the floor in the second half?
Yeah.
3 of 14 from the floor and 1 of 4 from the free throw line. I mean, he didn't show up in the second half, but people are focusing on De'Aaron Fox, who was actually somebody willing to take the shot. Now,
took some bad shots too.
Yes, but I would compare it to in baseball, if you're trying to get to third with 2 outs, you better make it. You can't be wrong about that. You can't make the third out at third base. If you're going, you'd better make it. With De'Aaron Fox in that position with 11 seconds left, up by 1, you either better get fouled or better make the layup. I know he was fouled, but it better be so egregious of a foul that you have that much of an advantage.
Correct.
That the only thing they can do is foul you to stop you from scoring, that you go to the free throw line, or you're dribbling towards the block, and then you peel out and let 2 or 3 more seconds tick off the clock, make your free throws, you're up by 3. That's also saying you're going to make your free throws and be up by 3 because they're going to get the ball back.
Yes, and that's why I like the layup a lot of times in that situation, because you go up 3 and now you can't lose. I don't want to say you can't lose.
Larry Johnson would disagree.
Yeah, Larry Johnson. Yeah,
LJ in the house would disagree. Grandmama.
I would say it's a very small percentage chance of losing now, right? You go to the free throw line and you only make 1. Well, with Brunson and those guys, you think they're not going to – you have a good chance of losing now. Again, result was horrible. It's the opposite of Vance Wilson.
That's I like that. Yeah.
My opinion. I'm normally alone on the not alone, but I'm normally in a small minority on this hill. Everyone loves to bring it out and try and play the free throw game. It feels like, and I'm team. If there's a layup, take it. Again, OG made a great play. Sometimes guys make plays. Josh Hart made a great play, then missed a layup. I mean, right? I mean, that was uncontested. He didn't know whether he was going to dunk or not. And these moments, you never know how guys are going to respond. The Knicks, yet again, back-to-back games, the crowd was almost too big for them. The moment seemed too big. Playing at home, the pressure since 1973 almost seemed too big for them.
Yeah.
And then they gave up 30 points in the second half.
It's the largest margin from first half to second half scoring in NBA playoff history. 76 points in the first half, 30 in the second half. 46-point difference. 30 points.
30 points. They scored 41 in the first, 35 in the second, 30 in the second half.
It's unreal.
Give the Knicks credit, again, for the defense. I mean, the defense, their plan worked. It worked.
Yeah. It seemed like early on there was way too much focus on being physical with Wemby. That you were missing some of the other elements of the game. It was like, we're being physical, we're going to be physical, we're going to be physical. And then you're down by 30 points. Correct. 29 points, whatever. I still have not seen a replay. I've seen the De'Aaron Fox play about 100 times. The OG Anunoby tip about 100 times. One time live did I see the final play in the throw-in from Dylan Harper that was tipped by Karl Anthony Towns, and the play in which Castle was open.
Yeah, it was a bad pass, it looked like.
It was awful. Like, you've got to throw it higher than that. You can't let it get tipped. But you also have 6'5" Dylan Harper throwing the ball in against 7-foot Karl Anthony Towns.
I understand the thought process because they used Wemby as a decoy.
It was like, or just throw it up to Wemby. Well, Wemby was the decoy.
But he came out, and then it left Castle wide, the bleep open.
It's a catch and a layup or a catch and a dunk if the pass gets over Karl Anthony Towns.
If you're a KU fan, you've seen that play happen many times. That's that back pick.
Yeah.
All the time for on the inbounds back pick for an easy alley-oop. Mm-hmm. They had it drawn up perfectly. Give the Spurs credit. They had the play.
Yep. And then give Karl Anthony Towns credit because I think he tipped it. I'm not sure. Yeah. I've seen it once.
I hope he tipped it, or either that or that was one of the worst passes.
I mean, he had to have tipped it.
Because that ball went so low. I mean, it wasn't even...
But again, I haven't, not seeing a replay. I don't know. Did the clock immediately start when, if he tipped the ball? Was it...
it didn't look like it because it looked like
it picked it up, turned around, threw it?
It was 1.2.
Yeah.
Right, it was 1.2, so...
1.2 would have gone off by the time that the ball hit the ground and somebody else could have touched it.
And that's why I thought, okay, so maybe it didn't get tipped.
Yeah, I thought, but I haven't seen the replay on it. But it was a great play because Stephon Castle was open. But I don't know. In that situation, maybe they foul him and he misses the free throws. Although I would put him at the free throw line and say that he's not going to miss free throws. He's the one guy that, out of the Spurs right now, that I would trust to make every free throw in any situation.
That might have been, I don't want to say the series, but I think the Spurs had the Knicks on the brink of this is going to be a 4-2 finish now. The Spurs will win the last 4 games. Because after losing that first one at home in New York with the crowd the way it was, with it being silent as if it was a COVID game in the first half, you're sitting here going, the Knicks now look flabbergasted. They looked like, okay, that great story of 13 straight wins, that was fun. We're now back down to earth. The Spurs are the better team. They're just going to end up rolling. Mm-hmm. The fact the Knicks were able to come back now, and now they only have to win one more of the last 3.
Yep.
And I just, and if that's so difficult.
And with the flagrant, or with the foul being upgraded to flagrant 1 for Wemby, which I thought was a collective of what took place the previous game.
Half and a half.
Because the Brunson was way more of a flagrant than that one. I know it's like elbow to the chin. Wemby was trying to get his hand around that.
Yeah,
and was even looking away, and it connected with the chin barely, as opposed to Wemby palming Jalen Brunson's head and throwing it down. Like, which one's more of a flagrant foul? Obviously, we know which one is more of a flagrant foul. But now, if the Spurs are going to win the series, Wemby can't pick up a flagrant foul the next 2 games. He's got to go 2 games. He can pick one up in Game 7 because he'll get suspended for Game 8. Who cares? So you got to go. If they're going to win 3 games, Wemby cannot pick up a flagrant foul over the next 2 games.
And what's funny is we'll probably see the NBA be pretty. They'll know this, and whether you
but unless he does something really dumb,
it has to be egregious.
Just throws an elbow right at somebody.
It's going to have to be egregious, I'd imagine. Yeah. Which again, fair or not. I don't want to see anyone. I don't care if you're him or if you're Keldon Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's egregious, let the guys decide it on the court.
Yep, and we'll see. I thought for a good portion of that game, the Spurs were going to win the series.
Yeah,
and now they're down 3-1. I still think that a lot of people are like the series is over. No, it's over. Well, Spurs go back, take care of business at home, and then you got another chance at Madison Square Garden to go and win.
Which, by the way,
you find a way to do that.
How
now
much
you got
pressure is on New York then at that point?
100%. You take care of business at home in San Antonio. Take it to Game 6. Again, all the pressure is going to be on the Knicks, and there are 2 games that you can realistically say we should be 2-0 in Madison Square Garden.
the Knicks have done this all postseason where they'll get down 20 points.
Yeah.
And that's what the NBA, I've always said the NBA is so fun to watch because this is the reason why.
There's never a lead too big.
There's never a lead too big.
This is proof of it. Yeah.
The Knicks have done this all postseason.
Yeah.
They had it against, what was it, the Cavs?
Yeah.
When they were down like 20
Yeah.
and came up. I mean, this is what they've done.
Yep. It's crazy. But I don't know. I'm surprised there is so much commentary about De'Aaron Fox and that one play.
Agreed.
To where, I mean, I'm seeing it all morning about De'Aaron Fox and J.R. Smith. De'Aaron Fox and J.R. Smith. Not even the same. Like, J.R. Smith grabbed the rebound and thought they were winning.
Correct.
He thought they were winning the game when he grabbed the offensive rebound off the free throw and went to dribble it out. It's such a massive difference in a blunder in an NBA Finals game than De'Aaron Fox, knowing you're up by 1, trying to be aggressive and dunk it, to go up by 3, where you might have, if you didn't take it to the hole, OG Anunoby might have grabbed you anyway and fouled you. Therefore, you'd have had to. Okay, now you got 2 free throws with 9 seconds left.
Yeah, it was a different situation.
As opposed to you're up 3 with 11 seconds left. I'd take the guaranteed up 3 with 11 rather than you get 2 free throws with 9. Obviously not a guarantee, but that's what De'Aaron Fox was thinking. J.R. Smith just didn't know the score.
Also, Alvarado, I know they said on the announcement, he wasn't backcourt.
Well, because it's the rule of 3. The ball never got over half court.
The ball never, okay.
Yeah, the ball never bounced over half court.
Okay.
Both feet were over, but the ball never crossed.
So when I saw that originally,
Yeah.
I knew the rule,
Yeah.
but I go, I thought
he dribbled over it in real time as well.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
That was my, because I knew it, yes. If the ball's not, all 3 have to be over,
Yep.
but if all 3 aren't, you can do a little of that game. I
100% thought it was the ball he dribbled over.
I thought he dribbled
Because I
over
was
too.
looking down the court too, and then I'm like, oh my God, he just went over and back, and then they showed the replay. I'm like, oh, the ball never got over, so it was a good no call. But it was close.
Yeah, good call by the, honestly, great call by the ref. That's a tough one, by the way.
It was close there. We'll take a timeout, come back, wrap up this hour next. Oh, yeah, we're back for just a little bit before Sports or Leisure, but breaking news in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs have traded Wanya Morris and a 7th-round pick.
Tell me, Cam Jordan, tell me.
To the Atlanta Falcons for a 6th-round pick. What did I say? If they're going to get something from Wanya Morris, it's probably a pick swap. We'll give you a 7, you give us a 6. So Wanya Morris and a 7th-rounder to the Falcons. Chiefs getting a 6th-rounder. Both of those in the 2027 draft. So Wanya Morris is an Atlanta Falcon. The Chiefs and Wanya Morris's agent working together to try to find the new home. We heard about them seeking a deal. So the Chiefs do a round swap for the Falcons to get Wanya Morris. Sports or Leisure next.
to sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
All right, time for a little sports or leisure. Somebody's going to have to explain how we play this game because it's been a while. So I know that
you call in.
I know that's one of the main parts of it.
You call in,
right?
913-381-0810.
Okay, there you go.
You will have to answer either sports or leisure question first.
Okay, so you don't do sports and leisure as your first question?
No, you have to do or as your first question.
You know what? That makes sense as to why it's called
You
that.
have to do and, a.k.a. you have to get both right to win. And
Okay.
Jason, they win a $25 gift card to Johnny's Tavern.
Okay, so as this happens, do we give like lots of hints along the way? Is it everybody wins? Or we
No hints.
I don't know how to. I've forgotten how to play. It's been so long.
We
It's been
are sticklers.
Yes, that's right. Sticklers for the rules. He goes outside and he gets a little stick and he just
They call us
swats people
Stickler's
with it.
mom.
Okay, I see what you did there. 913-381-0810. It is time for a little sports or leisure. $25 to Johnny's Tavern, as he said. Premier sports bar in Kansas City. 10 area locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. We give you $25 if you get a sports question and a leisure question right. If you get it wrong, sorry about that. That's just them's the bees, how it works. Them's the breaks. It's just how the cookie crumbles, as they say. The question will be out there and available for someone to call in and request. We give out the right answer when it is answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. If you're just joining us, Wanya Morris has been traded to the Atlanta Falcons for a 6th rounder, really a round swap. The Chiefs are sending Wanya Morris in a 7th rounder in the 2027 draft. They are getting back the Atlanta Falcons 2027 6th rounder. So there you go. Right now, the Big 12 Executive Board is meeting on the Sorsby eligibility ruling in terms of playing Texas Tech or not. I'm assuming the Big 12 Executive Board is trying to figure out if there are ways to just simply take them off the schedule if he plays. Is there a way to not play that game that week if Sorsby is planning on playing? Is it a situation to where if Sorsby plays, no matter the outcome, it's a forfeit for Texas Tech and the other team wins? Like I don't know what the repercussions can be, but that's going on.
I bet they find a conclusion.
Maybe.
I bet they do.
Do you think what would you
Over,
give it?
under.
What would you give it? 2-1 odds, 5-1 odds? What would you give it? 913-381-0810. Let's go through the categories today. On the sports side, I've got Major League Baseball, which is mainly just Kansas City Royals. I've got a category called Return to Sender, and these are Chiefs players drafted by the Chiefs that then returned to play a second stint with the Kansas City Chiefs, a la L'Jarius Sneed. And then World Cup questions that, shockingly, surprisingly, about the World Cup. Those are the categories today.
In honor of the World Cup, I have world history.
Okay.
So world history.
Okay.
We also will have we still have a few left of commercial slogans. We got 4 left in commercial slogans.
They're difficult.
They are. And then riddles, because riddles
Those
are
are
always
fun.
there. So world history, commercial slogans, riddles.
Okay, there you go. 913-381-0810. I'm ready to go, Sterling. You're good to go.
Why not?
Michael Darcy.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's head to the phone lines. And first up is Avery to play a little sports or leisure on this Thursday. Avery, welcome into the show. What side would you like to start with, sir?
Let's do World Cup.
World Cup for you. Okay. You know what? See if this guy is, see what he knows about his stuff. Probably should have looked at it and did the in order of what I wanted to do based on Avery or not Avery. Ooh, this is a fun one, Avery. I asked Jake and Nate this before the show started, right after they got off the air. And they got...
Pre-guess?
What's that?
Pre-guess? Can I pre-guess?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to guess Eric Winalda and Ernie Stewart.
No.
All right.
I'll give you the actual question. The question I asked them was, the last time the U.S. hosted the World Cup, FIFA implemented 2 new rules to help create a more offensive game. It was specifically beginning with the 1994 World Cup. These are rules that are very much known, and just every game, match, we accept these rules now, but it didn't start until 1994. Name either of those. Nate and Jake.
No passing back to the keeper.
No, you
can. The keeper can't pick it up with their hands, or it's an indirect kick.
Okay, that's one. Name both of them. No, that was it. That's there you go. They got that one right.
Is that the one that Nate got?
Nate and Jake both got that one. Jake was the first one to get it because he's a goalie and he was pissed about it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can't grab
You
it.
can't pick it up with your hands if your teammate passes it to you.
Correct.
Before 94, you could do that.
Yeah.
Any ball that came in the box, you could pick it up.
Did they also put a limit on how long the keeper can hold it?
No, but Jake and Nate gave about 15 different guesses, which is why I said name either of the rules. The other one was, beginning in 1994's World Cup, a player on a breakaway that's fouled is an automatic red card.
Oh, okay.
So that had not been the case before 1994. Yep. And now if there's a breakaway and there's nobody between the player and the goalie and he's fouled, it's an automatic red card.
Kind of like NBA. Clear path foul.
Clear path foul. Yeah. Only they don't have to play with 4 the rest of the game.
That'd
they get
be
to keep, They get to keep
crazy.
the fifth player out
What if
there.
they did that in basketball? You had like 2 minutes, or hockey, 2-minute warnings.
No, here it is. You give the players 8 fouls in a game, but if the player fouls out, you can only play with 4 guys.
I actually like the hockey rule where you can play with 5-on-4, like a 2-minute. Like a goal doesn't put him back in, but you're still.
I kind of like that. That is fun. They should. You know what? We should just change basketball the way that we know it. So
I found out at a City League basketball game in overtime, and we didn't have any other players, so we played with 4.
See, there you go. Well, excuse me. You didn't play with 4.
Oh, yeah, I didn't play with 4. It was crazy. It was like on a free throw, and I didn't even go for the rebound. He called me a foul. I was like, what is happening here?
Hey, you're already thrown out of the game. You might as well get your money's worth.
Yeah,
you better do something.
Yeah, I did not get my money's worth.
What's he going to do? Not let you play anymore? Over to Leisure with Sterling.
World history, commercial slogans, or riddles?
Let's do world history.
World history. You'll know all these, so congratulations. You're going $25 to Johnny's.
You're never going to ask him questions.
What's the capital of Argentina?
A.
Buenos Aires.
It sure is.
I was right too, though, right?
More geography.
Well, it's so world history.
I mean, that is geography.
That's world history.
Yeah, name the year that they named Buenos Aires the capital of Argentina.
No one's getting that. No one is getting. So I'm like, well,
right.
Argentina stayed in the United States in Kansas City. So I'm like, oh,
I got it right.
What you call it, the Big A?
Yeah. What's the capital of Argentina? A. That's right, by the way. Just so we're aware, that is right. Avery will put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, $25 to Johnny's Tavern heading your way. Thank you, sir.
Super duper.
There you go. There's winner number 1. Winner number 1. Man, I would study up on my world history and capitals on teams staying in Kansas City. That's my initial indication of the...
Just early on. Maybe I'm going to throw you for a loop here. I might throw you for a huge loop.
The initial question based on world history, I'm going to go with it might be related to teams staying here in the Kansas City area. Jerry next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jerry, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with?
I'll try the sports. In that category of the Chiefs, whatever the draft.
Yes, the return to sender, the players that started out as Chiefs, drafted, and then left and came back. So let's go with this one. A man whose career in Kansas City was always connected with another player based on where they were drafted. He may have been an insurance pick at the time, but had a successful career with the Chiefs, including a couple of big postseason moments, igniting a huge comeback and ending a Super Bowl.
I guess I'm thinking McCole Hardman. I know he bounced back and he ended the Super Bowl on a win.
Is that your answer?
That'll be my answer, yeah.
McCole Hardman is correct. It was McCole Hardman. The igniting the comeback was when they were down 24-0, and he had that huge kick return when the Chiefs then scored on that drive.
Was huge.
Some would say that, yes. McCole Hardman, a returner, reuniting. Over to leisure with Sterling.
World history, riddles, or commercial slogans?
Commercial slogans? This is like Nike and McDonald's and something like that.
Yes, some are.
It'd be like ba da ba ba ba. Would be something like that, or is it like a slogan?
It's like a slogan.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, it'd be more like I'm loving it.
I
but
get it.
That's not that easy.
Oh,
But
you
yes.
should ask him that one. What if you did? That's what they are, though. If you want to choose that category or not.
Okay, I'll try the slogans.
Expect more, pay less. People think they're easy until you hear them, and you're like, oh, whoa.
I mean,
I don't know. I was
the name of the
thinking,
company in the slogan?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would think.
Expect more, pay less.
I think the Walmart Target, is it one of those two?
Could be.
Certainly it could be, I guess.
Certainly could be.
Some would say.
Target.
It's Target.
Oh, nice
Target.
job.
Yeah, there we go. Expect more, pay less. Target.
Look at that. We got back-to-back winners right out of the gates. This is going to be a good...
But see, I'm telling you, you hear the, I know Target slogan. I know what it used to be.
I don't know Target slogan.
That's their slogan.
Clearly.
Expect more, pay. I don't know if it still is, but that was their slogan for the longest time.
But here's the thing, though. When I hear the answer, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, duh. I know that. I've always known that. That's an easy one. Maybe not. Jerry, we'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations. Well done.
Okay.
Yeah,
anytime
absolutely.
Jerry comes on, I just think we need to play Jerry Was a Race Car Driver by Primus. That's all I can think about when I hear the name Jerry.
Okay.
No, any Primus fans in here? Any Primus fans?
Eminem was. Let's go to John next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. John, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with?
Well, boys, let's do sports. I'm digging that Chiefs two-timer category.
All right, let's do that one. Okay. This player was drafted by the Chiefs in the 3rd round, had one of the greatest rookie seasons in Chiefs history. It would be a short first stint with the Chiefs based on his own actions. He'd return 6 years later, not the same player and a few less rings.
That would be Kareem Hunt.
It would be Kareem Hunt is the correct answer. I didn't know if I should include the few less rings or not. I decided to make it easier today. But yeah, he's 3 rings short of what he could have been there with the Chiefs. Over to leisure with Sterling.
World history, commercial slogans, or riddles.
Oh gosh, let's do commercial slogans.
Save money, live better.
Save money. Oh my gosh, that could have just been
Target
or Walmart again. Save money.
live
So
better.
you said save money, live better.
Yep.
Save money, live better.
Oh
Man,
shoot.
I am bad at these.
I'm drawing a blank.
Man.
Save money, live better. I mean, it's either Walmart.
Yeah, it's Walmart. Yeah.
Nice job. Nice guess.
I love
dude.
it. All these massive companies, and people just forget their slogans.
Totally. Even as you say that, I'm like, I guess I don't pay
And,
much attention
and some
to
of
the
these,
slogan.
obviously, they've changed over the years, but this was their big one for a long time, was save money, live better. Yeah.
Interesting.
And by the way, the joke was I did Target first, and so that way it
No, that
made it a
makes
little
sense.
easier on you, John.
Just a little bit.
Jerry had a...
Just a wee little bit.
I thought their slogan was "Do your own shopping, scan your own groceries, check yourself out." I thought
They've changed their slogan. That's a long slogan,
Yeah, it
but
was- they were workshopping that one when they
Okay.
first introduced
they've
it.
changed. Now it's like
Yes.
who knew or something like that. They've changed their slogans.
Not sure.
That was a big one.
John, we'll put you on hold to get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue playing. We are 3 for 3 in winners. We got some more questions. We got some more gift cards from Johnny's Tavern to give away. 913-381-0810. First in, first on. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue playing sports or leisure next. Thursday edition of The Zone. Playing some sports or leisure, 913-381-0810. $25 at Johnny's Tavern. We give away with sports or leisure. You get a sports question and a leisure question. You get them both right, you win. Either of them wrong, you lose. Question is out there available for someone to call in and request if they know the answer to it. We give out the right answer when it has been answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. That's how we play sports or the leisure. Resetting of the categories. On the sports side, we've got Major League Baseball. We have one more question in Return to Sender, which is, those are questions about the Chiefs players that have returned to play for the Chiefs after a stint with a different team, kind of like L'Jarius Sneed, or the two answers have been McCole Hardman and Kareem Hunt. So one question left in that, and then we have World Cup questions. That's on the sports side. Reset the leisure side categories.
We have world history. We have a couple left in commercial slogans, and we have riddles.
There we go. 913-381-0810 to the phone lines we go, and we bring in Tim to the show. Tim, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with?
Oh, let's see. What was the other sports besides the Chiefs returns?
Major League Baseball and World Cup.
Okay. And just general Major League Baseball?
Most of them are about the Royals.
Gotcha. Let's start with the world history, actually, on the leisure side.
What is the capital of Algeria?
Algiers.
It is Algiers, yes.
Also right with me.
The more I learn about Algeria, the more I'm like, whoa, that's cool. I'm learning today.
The more you learn about world history, you realize it's world geography.
Yeah, well, but it makes it easier. The history ones were too hard. It was like...
Is that right? So it's just all going to be geography?
Well, it'd be like, when did India become, away from England? It was like 1948. I don't even think people...
More like India dependent, right?
Or like, when did Haiti break away from France? I think it was like 18-something. Like, it's too hard.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
too...
sure.
I'm trying to be kind.
Yeah, sure. So
I want people to go to Johnny's.
Yeah, so it's not world history. Good to know. No, that makes sense. Okay, so just not world history.
Some
Very
history.
good. Very good.
Why is it not herstory?
I'm not sure. What category? Major League Baseball, Chiefs, and World Cup?
Let's go baseball.
All righty then. Let's go baseball, and we will go with, we'll go with this one. Jack Caglione became the 5th player this year for the Royals to have at least one home run and a stolen base in the same game. Can you tell me, bleep it, just 2 of the other 4?
Bobby Baseball.
Yes,
for one, right?
Robert Baseball Jr.
And let's see. Is a placeholder guy count?
Oh, current player.
Oh, current.
Yeah,
current.
this year. My apologies. Just this year specifically.
Oh, okay. This year, besides
Yeah. So Jack became the 5th player this year for the Royals to have a home run or stolen base in the same game.
Maikel Garcia.
Michael is right. That is correct. Would you have been able to name another one? Because I was thinking about either 2 or 3.
Probably someone like Isaac Collins.
Isaac Collins is one of them. Well, there you go. You would have gotten 3. What if I would have said you had to get 4 of them right? Would you have figured out
that
who the
new
4th
guy? What's his name? Or no, wait, Kyle Isbell.
There you go. Wow. You got all 4 of them right. Well done.
I'm on a roll.
You are absolutely on a roll. All right. Well done. Well, you can get some rolls there at Johnny's Tavern if you feel like it. $25 is heading your way. That's a winner. Tim will put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. 4 for 4. 4 for 4 so far. All right. Got some winners. Got to keep that streak going. You just know capitals of countries and Royals players or World Cup or Chiefs. Any of those. 913-381-0810. Cajun next up on Sports Radio 810. Cajun, what side would you like to start with?
Well, I will answer Sterling's earlier question. I love Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
Nice Primus. Love that. Good for you.
All right, man.
Wow, Cajun.
Really do. It's on my list, man.
Wow, Cajun.
Good for you. Good for you guys.
You got to say that on air.
Good for you guys.
Proud of you.
Having that in common.
Okay,
That's fun.
I'll take the world geography.
I like that. World geography. He had it right.
All right, fine.
Oh, I'm going to give you history.
Oh yeah, I already won the first question, right?
Wait, fine. I'll give him geography since he asked for it. What is
I actually prefer world history because I did know the 1948 because Gandhi is one of my favorite movies. Have you guys ever seen Gandhi?
Well, what's Gandhi's real name?
Mahatma Gandhi.
Was that the question?
No.
Okay.
Actually, it's Muhammad. Whatever.
What is the capital of the Netherlands?
Whatever, Gandhi.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
End.
It's been a long day.
What's the capital of the Netherlands?
The Netherlands. That's Holland. Amsterdam.
It is Amsterdam.
Nice job. Well, a lot of A's here
right now, man.
A lot of A's here with these questions. All right, on to the sports side. We got Major League Baseball. We have a Chiefs question left, and we have World Cup.
Let's do the baseball and let me get that one wrong.
All right. You know what? Let's go. This isn't a specific Royals one, unless you want a specific Royals one.
I don't care, man. It don't matter.
Okay. Salvi has 37 doubles and 29 home runs against the White Sox. Among active players, it's the second most in both categories against the White Sox. Which player in Major League Baseball has the most doubles and home runs against the White Sox besides Salvi?
Doubles and home runs against the White Sox.
Yes, so you'd think it'd have to be it's going to have to be a Central team. You're on the right track there.
Yeah. Oh, man. No idea. Give me a hint.
Let's see. We already said he's in the Central.
Right now.
Switch hitter. And let's just say he punches above his weight.
Punches above his weight. I don't know. Albert Bell.
Not a bad one, but no, because he's not still active. But
okay. Las Palapatat, mon ami.
I love it, whatever it is. I appreciate it. Cajun, you're the man. Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Yes, sir. 913-381-810-810. Did you like that hint, Michael?
I did.
Yeah.
It took me a minute.
It's a couple. There's two ways of looking at it. I mean, it's a double meaning there with that play. I almost said his name. It's a double meaning with, and then I almost said the name. I didn't say the name. All right, to the phone lines we go. 913-381-810. Todd next up to play a little sports or leisure.
Lebo.
Todd, what side do you want to start with? Okay, Oklahoma baseball.
So it's not Lebo.
Okay, dang it.
But first time, long time. Thank you, Houdini.
Oh my goodness, that is great. You are welcome, Todd. We're already halfway there.
All right.
You've already got one right in my mind.
Give me that return to sender question.
All right, the last one left. This player would live out the life of his rookie contract before moving on to play less than a season for his hometown team. He'd return on a limited basis, his career ultimately defined by a big miss in the first round.
That's a good one. Origin? Language?
I would say really close to Cajun. Maybe not the name, but where the guy's hometown team is, and then where he played for a little bit. Really close to Cajun.
Repeat that question one more time, please.
So this player lived out the life of his rookie contract. He moved on to play less than a season, just a couple of games for his, quote, hometown team. Think of Cajun. He returned on a limited basis. His career is mostly defined by a pretty big miss in a first-round selection.
Oof.
You don't have to think too far back. You don't have to think too far back. So these are players that are drafted by the Chiefs and then came back after leaving for a little bit.
Oh, Debo?
Had to be drafted by the Chiefs, but pretty recent. Dwayne Bowe. I'll give you one more guess because you started off with Houdini, but you are thinking of the right school. I'll tell you that. You got the right college.
Yep.
Oh, Clyde Edwards.
There you go, Clyde Edwards. See, without the Houdini, we'd have had to let you go, Todd. So it works out in your favor. Yes, on to
magic.
Exactly.
It's all magic.
Yeah, I love it. On to leisure with Sterling.
Commercial slogans, riddles, or world history / geography.
I watch a lot of TV, so let's go commercial slogans.
That's pretty easy. The best a man can get.
Oh, I know that one. I know it. Yeah, you said it right. Yes, sorry. Sorry, Todd. I was so excited that I knew one that I talked over you getting it right.
We nailed it.
Nice job. Yes. Todd, we'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. 913-381-810 is the phone number. $25 to Todd to Johnny's Tavern. We'll take a timeout, come back. One more segment, playing a little sports or leisure coming up next. All right, one more segment here, playing a little sports or leisure. 913-381-0810. Have time for a couple of contestants. The World Cup getting ready to get underway in about 15 minutes or so. They're going through some of the opening ceremonies now as we get ready for the Mexico-South Africa game at 2 o'clock. 913-381-0810. Let's head to the phone lines and bring in Jeff. Jeff, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Sports.
All right, we got Major League Baseball. We have no more Chiefs questions, but we have World Cup. So Major League Baseball, World Cup.
Better go Major League Baseball.
Okay, we have one out there about Salvi, the White Sox, but it's a player that's not a Royals player. That one's out there. We have plenty of fresh ones that are specifically Royals or a general one.
Yeah, give me an easy one.
An easy Royals one?
Yeah.
Okay, easy Royals one for you. Boy, easy one. Easy one. There are currently 2 different Royals in the top 10 of outfield assists this year. 2 Royals in the top 10 of Major League Baseball in outfield assists. Who are they?
Well, one of them has to be Cags.
Cags is correct. Cags is one of them. And one more in outfield assists. He hasn't had nearly as many opportunities as Cags. He's actually the career active leader in outfield assists as well, this guy.
The new guy they've been putting lead off.
Not him.
Think of it.
Not him. Not him. Nope. You're thinking of Lane Thomas, but it's not Lane. But you're close, though, in terms of that thought process.
Yeah, it's Starling.
Marte. Starling Marte, you got it. You got it. Yep, you got the shot off right before the buzzer. So you got the Starling, and then the buzzer sounded, so the shot had left your hand.
Starling reputation.
Yep, Starling Marte is correct. Cags and Marte.
I didn't remember Marte. I was coming out with
it's all good. Over to leisure with Sterling.
World history is probably the easiest if you're going easy, Jeff.
Yeah, I need something easy. I'm 63.
What are the names of Columbus's ships?
Oh,
He said shoot. I heard it. He said
Santa
shoot.
Maria.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Pinta.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, that's Santa Maria, the Pinta, and then the first one.
Pinta, Santa Maria, something like that.
Well, Santa Maria and Pinta are 2. What's the third?
Yeah.
But when you're thinking of the rhyme, this one is the first one.
Yeah.
Starts with an N.
Benina.
Yeah, there you go. Nice job. See, look at that. You got it. No hints along the way at all.
Nice,
no hints along the way at
Jeff.
all. Jeff, will put you on hold. Information coming your way or getting to Michael. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
Nice job. Absolutely. 913. We got time for one more, and that will be John wrapping us up playing a little sports or leisure here on a Thursday. John, what side would you like to start with? Is John there?
John may be muted.
John,
did you mute yourself?
Is John there?
Hey, John, did you mute that John?
Johnny.
I did mute it.
Yeah, you're good, John?
I was sitting there talking, going, why can't you hear me? All right, let's start with sports.
Hello.
Specifically MLB. I don't know squat about soccer.
Okay, great. Specifically Royals MLB, or we have a question out there as well that hasn't been answered correctly, but we have plenty of Royals ones left.
I didn't hear that one, so let's just go fresh Royals one.
All right, fresh one for you. Man, that was the easiest one that was left. Let's go with, you know what, since we asked this question earlier, or it might have been yesterday, actually. We had Les Norman in with Jack. Johnson. Jack Caglione, 2 home runs, a walk, and a stolen base in the same game. He's the 4th Royal in franchise history to have those numbers in one game. Name any of the other 3.
2 home runs, a walk, and a stolen base.
Yep. There is one player that you will never get, and it's the most recent one, but it's totally random. And then there are 2 pretty famous Royals on the list there, and the free space is not one of them.
When I think of those stats, I'm thinking it sounds like a Brett and/or Beltran, because those guys were good at all those things.
Well, you know what? The free space in Brett is not one of the answers. So,
that's what you meant by free space. Let's go Carlos Beltran.
Carlos Beltran is correct. He did it in 2003. The other 2 to do it, oddly enough, last year, Mike Yastrzemski. And the first one in Royals history to do it, Bo Jackson in 88. So, Bo Jackson, Carlos Beltran, Jack Caglione, and Yastrzemski. So there you go with those numbers. But nice job.
Yastrzemski's shockingly.
Any of them.
Yeah.
Any of them. Over to Leisure with Sterling.
World history, geography.
Okay. Why not? What is the capital of Austria?
A.
Austria.
They speak German.
Oh, gosh.
Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. Good on, mate.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I can't stop thinking about the number.
I know. Every time.
Austria. Gosh.
Love the sausage.
Vienna.
Nice job. Yes. Great.
God, dude.
What? Why would you think that has anything to do with Vienna? I was just speaking in generalities.
It's a great song, too. Is it by Billy Joel?
I wasn't even listening to what you said. I just came up with Vienna all on my own.
Exactly.
Jason loves sausage.
Yes, Vienna sausage. I love the sausage. Vienna sausage is exactly right. John, that's a winner. We'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thanks.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. I'm giving you that for next week. Questions we did not get answers to.
Well, considering you gave hints to all mine, you're good.
What are you talking about? The baseball question that was out there that we didn't get an answer to. Salvi with 37 doubles, 29 home runs against the White Sox. He is that's the second most among active players in those categories against the White Sox. Who has the most? The hint I gave was this player punches above his weight. The answer is Jose Ramirez, and punches above his weight is more of the he hits for power and he's a smaller stature guy. But he also punched Tim Anderson, who I think weighs less than him. But you get the point.
He was punching up.
He did punch up.
That's kind of what I thought about.
Yeah, he punched above his weight. He had to punch up. Yep, that's right. It works. It works. Jose Ramirez is the answer. That's the only one we did not get an answer to on today. But we did have, roughly 15 winners? And nary a hint given.
15
You
gave
winners,
out so many hints.
15 winners and no hints. That's crazy.
By the books, Jason.
15 hints. 15 winners, no hints.
Yeah, 15 hints per person.
Maybe.
I play it by the books.
Is that right?
I'm a hard ass.
Yeah.
You're soft ass.
Okay, whatever. Wanya Morris is now an Atlanta Falcon. The news that came down about an hour ago or so, Wanya Morris traded to the Atlanta Falcons. The Kansas City Chiefs are sending a 7th rounder and Wanya Morris, 2027 7th rounder, for a 2027 6th rounder from the Atlanta Falcons. So Wanya Morris results in a pick swap of rounds. Chiefs trade a 7th, get a 6th for Wanya Morris.
I wonder what his role is going to be in
Tackle.
Atlanta.
No, I think mainly offensive
You know
line.
what's funny?
What if he played tight end?
Juwan Taylor, starting right tackle right now in Atlanta.
We'll see. There you go.
Backup tackle, Wanya Morris. They just said, you know what? We want the Chiefs.
That's right. They
offensive line.
win Super Bowls with those guys. They've won. The Chiefs have won multiple Super Bowls with Juwan Taylor and Wanya Morris on the team. Why wouldn't the Falcons think that was the right mix?
Yeah, why wouldn't
right?
they?
So that's it's smart. Or actually, they won one Super Bowl with Juwan, right? Yeah, because they won the Super Bowl against the Niners, lost the Eagles, didn't make the playoffs, got cut before his 4th year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. All right, that'll do it. World Cup getting ready to get underway. We've got Game 5 of the Stanley Cup tonight. It's tied 2-2, so Game 5. My goodness, this is pivotal. Also, the Crossroads Show with Matt Beasler and Nate Buchanan at 6 o'clock. Keep it locked right here.